A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Many of the colonies of this planet here have been founded and built by misfits, rebels, rejects from their own societies, the transported criminals. And they've made good men in those new frontiers. But not all men are good men in a bad spot. When you open a new area, whether it's a new planet or a new continent, it takes tough men, men of strength and determination. Among the men of that type in any culture, many are rebels. They turn up in the criminal courts. Such men make fine colonists. But not all rebels are colonists, builders. A lot of them are just plain, lazy, sick-souled criminals. Now, Mars is a cold planet. It's nearly 50 million miles further from the sun than Earth. It gets proportionately less heat. Its air is thin and low in oxygen. Its water is scarce. It's not an easy place to live. Some men will live in unpleasant places by choice because they have this pioneering spirit or a sense of adventure. Other men have very little choice at all. When Robert Black was found guilty of the crime of armed robbery, the court gave him the usual choice: 15 years in prison or a permanent exile to Mars. The judge asked him which he preferred.
I'll take Mars.
It was so ordered.
Harrington, I'll see Robert Black now. Morning, Mr. Jenner.
What is it this time, Black? In trouble with the mine foreman again?
No, not this time, but if he keeps pushing...
Don't start that again.
I'm sorry, Mr. Jenner.
Now, look, Black, I'm supposed to be the colonial administrator here. Remember, I have work to do. Now, what's on your mind?
I want to go home.
Well, you're certainly welcome to. You know where your dormitory room is. Go ahead and go home. Why bother me with it?
Oh, you know what I mean. I want to go back to Earth.
Earth? That's impossible, and you know it. You made your choice 10 years ago. You wanted to be a free colonist instead of a prisoner, and you got what you wanted.
Free? You call this free? I work my hands off clear to the elbows in those freezing coal mines. I work 8-10 hours a day for what? For a few lousy bucks? And where can I spend it? No place. I'd rather be in jail.
No place to spend it. You seem to do a pretty good job getting rid of your paycheck in the bars in Marsport.
Why not? What else is there to do with it?
Black, a lot of men in your position have done something with it. They saved their money and bought a little pressure dome of their own. They got married and had kids and tried to make Marsport into a real city instead of drinking up every cent they've made.
Me get married? It's a laugh. None of the dames on Mars have anything to do with it, Con.
Oh, you mean they won't have anything to do with you personally, don't you? Other convicts have done something with themselves here, but you haven't, and you never will. You know why?
You tell me.
Because you can't change your way of thinking. You had to come here because you couldn't keep out of trouble, and you've made trouble for yourself and everybody else since you came. Drunken brawls, arguments with your foreman, everything. Someday you'll get in a real jam.
Now, look, Mr. Jenner, I try to get along. Honest, I do. I just don't like being pushed, that's all.
Oh, sure. Everybody picks on you.
Mr. Jenner, I just can't take Mars anymore. Look at my fingers. They're always cold. My feet are always cold. I haven't been warm for 1 minute in the last 10 years. They can't heat up the mines even because the stinking little planet's cold all the way through.
Well, what do you want me to do? Move Mars closer to the sun just to please you?
Look, Mr. Jenner, please, I'm serious. Send me back to Earth. I'll spend the rest of my time in prison there. I won't care just so long as it's on Earth where it's warm.
I just can't do that, Black. You had your chance to make your choice 10 years ago, and you made it. Neither one of us can change that.
Yeah, but it ain't fair. I'd have just 5 more years to do time if I'd taken a 15-year sentence, then I'd be free. The way it is, I gotta spend the rest of my life here. That ain't fair.
I couldn't send you back if I wanted to. I'm just a civil service appointee, not a judge of the court. If you want to spend 5 years in jail, I can accommodate you right here on Mars. But I can't send you back to Earth. And that's final.
Well, Mr. Jenner.
That's all, Black. Unless you have something else to see me about, please go. I'm busy.
Look. All right, if that's the way you're going to be.
That's the way I'm going to be. Goodbye, Black.
Goodbye.
There are many men who can't take no for an answer, but they don't all have that characteristic in quite the same way. The pioneer, the scientist, these are men who can't take no for an answer, and they plow their way through to an answer that works. But not all men are of that type.
Bartender, give me another beer. Woman always riding me. Jenner, that big shot. White guy. Sure, he don't worry about somebody freezing to death on his ball of ice. Not him. He can go home when he wants to. Who's this sharpie?
Hey, give me a glass of beer, bartender.
Space Service uniform. Wonder what he's doing in a cheap joint like this. Those guys usually have money to burn.
Boy, this beer's sure flat.
It's this low pressure does it. Takes all the fizz out of it.
Oh, is that so? Well, at least it's cold enough, huh?
Oh, yeah, everything's cold on Mars. You, been to service long?
3 years. This is my first Mars run. Thought I'd take a look at Mars port while they service my ship.
Your ship? You don't hardly look old enough to be the skipper of a spaceship.
That's what they all tell me. I may not be as old as you, old-timer, but it's still my ship.
Old-timer, right away he starts riding the guy right off his match. Yeah, that's pretty good. You know, a young fellow like you with a crew of 10 under you.
Oh, no. It's just the two of us, me and my navigator. We're giving the Skyfire its test run.
Oh, how can two men handle a spaceship?
Hey, look, don't you watch the newscast, mister? Skyfire is one of the new models with the Markheim drive. Fastest spaceship ever built.
I guess I'm a little behind the times. New drive, huh?
That's right. Hottest little thing in the sky.
Must not be as complicated as the old jobs if just two guys can run it.
Well, I hate to admit it, but it doesn't take much training to run one. A baby could do it.
Oh, man. Things sure have changed since the last time I was on a ship.
Is that so? Now, how long has that been?
10 years. Been here on Mars for 10 years.
Yeah? Are you, are you...
Convict? Oh, no. I come here my own free will. Got the old pioneer blood in me, I guess. But, well, we don't usually talk about it very much. You know, out here, one fellow's as good as the next one if he behaves himself.
Yeah, that's the way it should be, I guess. 10 years. Well, I guess you've been here long enough to get used to this light gravity, huh?
Sure. Don't even notice it anymore.
The trouble with being in the space service is that you never get used to any particular gravity. It might be 10 G's 1 minute and 0 the next. But you even get used to that eventually.
I imagine you would. My name's Bob Black.
Oh, I'm pleased to meet you. Mine's Carson, Peter Carson.
Hi. You going to be here long?
Oh, a couple of days. Skyfire will be ready to go in an hour or so, but my navigator's in the hospital for checkup. Twisted his ankle getting off the ship.
Oh, that's too bad. Hey, can I buy you a beer? We're both in.
Sure, thanks.
Bartender, 2 more here.
Say, if you've been here 10 years, you must know Marsport pretty well, huh?
Yeah, pretty well.
Well, look, there must be livelier places than this. Maybe you could tell me where to find a little excitement.
Sure. I know a couple of places. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll take you there myself.
Good enough. Come on, let's get out of here. We got far to go?
No, about a quarter of a mile.
Let's take a cab, then. I don't feel like walking that far in this cold wearing an oxygen mask.
Sure, we can pick one up.
Oh, my head.
Yeah, kid, you really hung one on last night.
Oh. Hey, where am I?
Open your eyes and look around. This ain't the good chip lollipop.
Hey, we're aboard the Skyfire. Hey, you're not supposed to be here. How'd you get through the guards at the gate?
Well, it wasn't easy, pal, but you helped. Now, you just lean back and relax. You're in no condition to try anything funny.
Hey, that's my gun you got there.
That's right. Earth. Beautiful, green, sunshiny, warm Earth. I'm sick and tired of this freezing hellhole. You're gonna take me home, buddy.
Colonial Administration, Jenner speaking.
Jenner, this is Colonel O'Neill, Space Service.
Oh, yes, Colonel. What can I do for you?
Well, something pretty serious has come up. Would you check your records on a man named Black? Robert Black?
Well, I might not need to check them. I know the man personally. What's he done now?
Well, I take it then you wouldn't be surprised if you were in trouble.
Not in the least. Why? What happened?
One of our spaceships was stolen early this morning.
What? Well, how could a man steal a spaceship?
A man couldn't steal one of the old kind, but this is a radically new type, small, compact, and easy to operate. Be almost as easy as stealing a car.
And you think Black had something to do with it?
Looks like it. He was the last one seen with Peter Carson, and his fingerprints are on the ladder to the takeoff pit. We're questioning the guards now, but it looks as if Carson and Black took off in the Skyfire together.
Incredible. Who is Peter Carson, by the way?
One of our young trainees. Pretty bright, but just a kid.
Oh?
Got a funny streak in him, though. The psychologist should never have passed it. Still, I never thought he'd do anything like this.
What do you mean? What's wrong with him?
Well, he's a bit of a braggart. Likes to claim he's something he's not. I'm no psychologist, but I'd say that he's a compulsive liar.
And the two of them stole a spaceship. Well, they ought to make a fine pair.
Now, tell me, can Black navigate and operate a spaceship?
Of course not. The only trip he ever made was 10 years ago when the court sent him here. He doesn't know how to operate a spaceship.
Then they'll make a fine pair, all right.
How's that?
Neither does Carson.
Criminal in jail is more or less forced to admit that he did make some kind of a mistake. Curious thing is, if you ask such a man what mistake he made, he's apt to say something like, well, you see, I didn't see that cop that was hiding down there in the doorway. He views it as a mistake in procedure. He doesn't recognize that he was fundamentally wrong in trying to make a living that way.
Sure outsmarted old smart boy Jenner. Goes to show you, kid, you can't keep a good man down.
Yeah, sure.
2 hours, I'll be back home again. Back to nice, warm, comfortable Earth.
Black, I'm scared we're going to crack.
Shut up. You still trying to give me that phony line?
I tell you, Black, I don't know anything about spaceships.
Don't give me that, will you? We took off okay, didn't we? We're on course, aren't we? And you did all the plotting and the piloting, didn't you?
I swear all I know is what I read in the textbooks of the academy. And I watched the captain take the ship to Mars. Any fool can take a spaceship off the ground, but it takes a trained pilot to land
You've
one.
been giving me that stuff ever since we started. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't believe it.
Please, Black, before it's too late, let me get on that radio and call the space service. They can get a ship up here.
Shut up. That's what you like, ain't it? Get the space service up here? I see through your dodge, and I'm not buying it. I don't mind getting caught on Earth because they can't deport me twice. They'll put me in a nice warm cell. But they're not going to nab me up here and send me back to that frigid hell I just left, you understand?
Listen.
Shut up, I said. I read over the pilot's manual. I read over the specifications on this ship. A baby could handle it. Remember? That's what you said. A baby could handle it. And you're right. I can land this thing myself. So don't give me any hooey about you not knowing how.
Please, Black, we haven't got much time.
Shut up.
Please, Black, let me use the radio.
Shut up. All right, now that's better. Now let's get ready to land this crate. We got less than 2 hours.
Gun or no gun, I gotta do something.
Sit back down and stay away from that radio.
I'm gonna call him. You can't stop
Get away, I told you. Stupid, crazy little punk. Now I gotta take the ship down by myself. Everything's okay. Just gotta be calm, that's all. Check the time. That's good. Now, according to the radar map, I'm over Wyoming. No town around. Right smack in the middle of nowhere. Good. That means no cops. Check the time again. Don't rush it now. Check the instruments. Height, velocity, direction. All okay. Time 10 seconds. Back to Earth. Boy, nice, warm, green Earth. No more cold red sand. It's time. 5 seconds to cut off. 3, 2, 1. Cut! Hey, we're still falling. I guess I'm okay. Ship didn't fall more than 10 or 15 feet. What's that? Radiation detector. Fall must have broken the shielding around the atomic engine. I gotta get out of here. Gotta get out of that airlock and run. This radiation could kill me. Could kill me if I don't get out. Oh, no. But I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here or I'll die. I gotta get out and see that good old warm old Earth. I gotta get out.
Administration, Jenner speaking.
This is Colonel O'Neill, Mr. Jenner. I just got word from Earth that our 2 runaways have been found.
You mean they actually made it to Earth?
Well, it wasn't a good landing. The engines were cut off too soon, and the sky fire dropped about 15 feet. But that ship's pretty nearly foolproof.
What happened?
Our man Carson has a bullet in him. Doctor says in bad shape, but he'll live.
And Black?
Funny thing. Shot the ship down in the desolate part of Wyoming. The fall shorted the radiation detector, and evidently Black thought the ship was full of radiation. He got out fast, started running, and just kept running until he dropped.
You mean he got away?
Well, he didn't get far. It's January, you know, wintertime in Wyoming. He ran into the teeth of a howling blizzard at sub-zero temperatures.
Yeah?
Froze to death before they could reach him.
Characteristic of a man who wants to do things the quick, easy way, that he doesn't like to take the time and trouble to look up the data as to what's going to happen when he gets there. It would have been easy enough for Black to check and find out it was winter on Earth. But you see, Mars doesn't have the same seasons Earth does. Mars' year is about twice as long as ours. I guess Black had sort of lost track of what it was like in Wyoming in January.
Exploring Tomorrow. And now, here is your guide to these adventures of the mind, John Campbell.
The 2 o'clock jet from Montana has just landed at New York, bringing in some 200 passengers, including some who have come to the world's largest city for the first time. Roy Bartlett is one of these. Big strapping kid out to seek fame and/or fortune, and New York was ready for him. The ancient custom of fleecing the country yokel will not die out for quite a few centuries to come. He just emerged from the port terminal and was looking around, big-eyed and confused and bewildered by the immensity of it all, when a girl came up to him.
Hello there. Waiting for someone?
You speak to me, miss?
That's who I was talking to, handsome. I asked you, are you waiting for someone?
Oh, no. That is... I just got here, miss. I came in from Montana on the jet plane there.
Oh. You got friends here?
Oh, I'm afraid I don't, miss. I just sort of decided to up and come to the city and sort of try my luck at it.
Well, maybe I can help you. I sort of like you.
You do?
Huh? Mm-hmm. You know, something in me wants to help strangers, to show them the ropes. And I've got free time now. I'd like to... Well, spend it with you.
Oh, you're so kind. You're so pretty.
You think so?
Oh, yes. You're the prettiest girl I've ever seen. Your smile, your eyes, you're good. I can tell you're warm and sweet. It's good of you to come to talk to me like this, to stand so close to me.
Well, I think I like you, too. What did you say your name was?
I didn't. Oh, I mean, it's Bartlett, Roy Bartlett.
Well, I'm Diana Lawson. You're big. Strong out there. Handsome.
Well, does it always happen this way?
Suppose we stop in for a bite to eat at that refresher mat and get to know each other, huh?
I think that's a wonderful idea.
You see how it works, Troy? Each drink you want, you put a half credit coin in the slot and punch out the combination.
Mm-hmm.
For a martini, you punch out 436, like it says on the board up there. Here, give me the money. I'll get us some drinks. Huh?
All right.
4, 3, 6. There we are.
Wow.
2 nice dry martinis. Here, you take yours and we'll go to that table. Careful, silly. Don't spill it.
Well, aren't we going to get anything to eat?
We can eat later. The occasion calls for a drink to celebrate your arrival. Here you are. And sip it this time.
Well, I'm sorry if I did the wrong thing with the drink. I just didn't know, you know.
Of course you didn't know. But you'll learn all these things, Roy. Where you from? Why are you here?
Well, I worked all my life on my father's farm, and he died last year and left me all alone out there, Steve. I kept things going a while and then figured I ought to try something different. And sold the farm, and I bought a ticket to New York. A one-way ticket.
It must seem like a different world to you.
Oh, it does. Big and frightening, unfriendly. At least it seemed unfriendly at first. Till I met you, darling. I can't ever thank you enough for coming over to me when I was alone.
You don't need to thank me, Roy. Just common decency to help a stranger out. Especially when he's a good-looking stranger. When are you seeing the central computer?
The what?
The central computer.
Huh?
Well, it runs New York, you know. Keeps the trains moving, the traffic lights, everything. You have to register with the computer when you establish permanent residence here. If you don't have a job, the computer will give you one. You didn't know that?
I guess I hadn't heard. Well, where'd I find this computer?
Just ask any policeman. He'll get you there.
Diana, you're swell for helping me out like this. I mean, I wish... there's some way I could thank you for this.
Oh, I told you it's just common decency. Roy, the money from the sale of your farm, did you bring it with you?
You bet. Yes, sir. $5,000 in cash and the same in traveler's checks.
Oh, so much. You're carrying it around with you?
Yeah, sure.
Hey, that's dangerous, Roy. You better put it in the bank right away.
Well, I don't know any banks.
Oh, I'll take you to one. Come on. Unless you want another drink before we go.
No, I haven't finished this one yet. There. Wait a minute. Those things taste better after you've had a few, you know.
Now, come along. I'll take you to the bank and then to the computer.
Oh, it's wonderful of you to take this interest in me. They warned me New Yorkers were unfriendly people, but they sure aren't.
Down this way. In here.
But it's dark in this... Hey!
Go ahead, Mike. Hit us.
Get away from me, you... Leave me alone. Diana! Come back! Diana!
You are Roy Bartlett, age 25, height 6 feet 2 inches, weight 185 pounds, born in Helena, Montana, 17 February 2184. Parents deceased. If any of this information is incorrect, please amend it.
That's all correct, sir.
Use of honorific titles is not necessary when addressing us. According to the report of the police officer who found you, you were beaten and robbed shortly after your arrival in New York.
That's right. She said she wanted to help me, to show me the ropes in New York.
Identify more specifically the she to whom you refer.
She gave her name as Diana Lawson.
Describe her.
Oh, she's medium height, 5'4" or so, and blonde hair. Good looking. Cute face, though the eyes are a little hard now that I think about it. She looks about 23 or so.
Our record banks hold no information on someone of that name fitting the description you give. The name was obviously assumed. Your introduction to New York life was unfortunate, but not uncommon. Do you plan to remain here as a permanent citizen?
Yes, I mean, yes.
What are your vocational plans?
I'm afraid I don't have any.
Your previous experience is wholly agricultural. This will be of little use to you in the metropolitan area. Have you any preference for the type of work you would like to do? This would guide us in assigning you.
I'd like to help people, if you know what I mean. I'd like to keep people from having the thing happen that happened to me. I mean, New York is full of confused, unhappy people who have to prey on others like the girl did on me.
You regard her as confused, unhappy?
Of course. I can't think of her as being just, wicked. People aren't born bad or good, they're raised that way. Maybe she could have been helped a few years ago, and then she wouldn't have to go around robbing strangers.
You harbor no hatred for the girl?
I sort of never looked at it as hatred, sir. I'm sorry, sir, I can't help calling you, sir.
If it makes you more comfortable, you may.
Thanks, sir. Well, as I was saying, no, I don't hate that girl, Diana. I'd help her if I could.
She is a warped criminal.
But is that permanent, sir? Can't she be brought in and straightened out somehow?
There is psychological rehabilitation for criminals, yes.
Well, you mean if she could only be caught and brought in, she could be turned into a useful citizen?
If she could be found in a city this large, it is not always possible to track criminals.
Well, I'd like to try to find her, sir. I mean, that's my vocational plans. I'd like to become a policeman, sir.
You will have to face psychological testing first, of course, and a training period of 6 months. But let us warn you, Roy Bartlett, if your motive in this is one of revenge, you will not survive the first battery of tests.
Revenge? Oh, no, not revenge, sir. I want to help that girl. And the others like her. Honest, that's what I want to do.
This will be demonstrated in the tests.
Do you think I'll make the grade, sir?
The tests will answer that.
But I mean, you computers can figure probabilities. Can't you tell me if...
You are most unusual, Roy Bartlett. But the probability favors your success. You will be taken to the testing center immediately. And if you are approved, you will go to the training camp.
Oh, thanks, sir. Thanks for listening to me. Will you wish me good luck?
Our data banks do not show the validity of such a wish, Roy Bartlett. But if your statements today were sincere, you should have no difficulty attaining your goal. The robot will show you to the testing center.
Of course, a computer can talk about revenge. That's a word that can be put in its vocabulary. But it couldn't understand what revenge meant. It couldn't understand human feelings of any kind. For that, human beings are necessary. For that, Roy had to be passed along to human beings who could teach him, could understand him, could help him understand himself, and find what his life work should be.
Mind if I sit down here, miss? You seem to be alone.
I am alone. Glad to have some company. Sit down, stranger.
Thanks. Thanks very much. You waiting for someone?
Yeah, I was. I don't think he's going to show up. You must know how that sort of thing is. When someone you're counting on doesn't show.
Yeah. Yes, I know what that's like, Diana. And I've been looking for you almost a year.
You know my name. Who are you?
You mean you've forgotten me, Diana? I suppose you would have. The pitiful greenhorn you picked up last March?
You're the Montana fella.
That's right. Roy Bartlett. You taught me how to drink a martini, remember, in this very place. And then you taught me what it was like to be robbed by someone you trusted.
I'm getting out of here. You can't keep me here.
You'll leave when I want you to leave, Diana, not before. Sit still. Don't make a fuss.
Let go of my arm. You're hurting me.
Just sit and try to look relaxed. Don't attract attention.
You can't prove anything. Leave me alone, I'll call a cop.
Go ahead, Diana. Call one. Now, look.
That badge. Oh, no. You...
That's right. I found a job in the big city, Diana. 6 months of training and the breaking-in period. I don't happen to be wearing my uniform now, but the badge is real.
What are you going to do with me?
Take you away, Diana, to Psych Center, where they can help you straighten up and grow the way God meant you to. You know, girl, you really did help me, and it really was worth the $5,000 you took from me. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and you showed me how to get the kind of job I wanted.
What are you talking about?
You never done any farming, have you, Diana? Probably don't realize what a farmer's job is. Well, it's making things grow strong and right the way they were meant to. But I guess I'd got sort of tired of working just with plants.
No. They'll kill me. They'll make me into something I hate, and something that'll hate me. It won't be me. I'll be a zombie or something.
I suppose it does seem that way. You never tried it the other way, though, have you? Without hate and bitterness driving you.
You mean tried being dead? No, I haven't.
No, I mean stop running and start doing what you want for yourself instead of what you think you want to do to somebody else. Now, look. We need Mike, too, your accomplice. He's outside, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's walk out together. Act natural. That's right. Just walk along with me as if I'm a rube you picked up and you're taking me down the block to that dark alleyway.
Yeah.
Where's Mike? Is he right behind us?
He ought to be. Mike, get him! He's a cop!
That stun gun blast ought to keep him on ice for a couple of hours. Long enough to get him down to headquarters, anyway.
I hate you. Why does this have to happen? Why couldn't you left me alone?
I wanted to help you.
Help me? By turning me in like this behind me over at the head shrinker?
They'll heal you, Diane. Take all the bitter hatred out of your mind. Make you a useful citizen.
Who wants to be a useful citizen? I had a good thing here until you busted it up. Now they'll fix me so I'll have to go straight be a good girl. Sew buttons on shirts for 30 credits a week.
There are good jobs open for rehabilitated criminals. Nobody will hold your past against you.
Good job. I'll never be able to go near my old friends. I'll have to begin life all over as somebody new.
That's right. And I'll be there to help you start all over.
You?
Sure. I'll be there to help you. I told you I owe you that. Come along now. Let's go down to headquarters.
Some people like to work with material things, and some can't see beyond it. When they can't see beyond material things, they're like Diane. Some people like to work with information, bits of data. Accountants, lawyers, many people work with data and information. So do computers. But some go beyond that and want to work with human beings. Now, some lawyers are not merely information handlers. They're human handlers. I guess Roy was one of those who wanted to go beyond the material and even the low-living things. He wanted to work with humans. You see, Diane did do him a favor, and he did owe her a favor. She'd shown him what his real-life work should be.
Major trouble in dealing with an alien is that we're accustomed to certain little signs, symbols, facial expressions, tones of voice that have meaning when a human being is communicating with a human being. But we have no system of signs and no code of communication with the alien.
How could we tell what the alien was thinking? You've heard a lot about the subliminal advertising recently. There's been quite a bit of discussion about subliminal messages. You know, we use subliminal messages all the time, but we don't quite recognize them. How do you know when someone's angry? You look at him, or how do you know when someone's hurt? He doesn't say so, but there's some clue you get. Suppose you were trying to communicate with someone who couldn't speak, but did all their communicating by the subliminal signs. You'd never be able to say just how you knew what the feeling was.
Kathy! What? Get a couple of root beers out of the icebox and bring them out for me and Rob, will you?
Dish has got to be washed, Dad.
You've got nobody in there. Nobody coming. Get yourself a root beer and come out and join us. Starting to cool off out here now. You'd think a girl would like to come and sit with a good-looking fellow like Rob here.
Oh, come on out, Kathy. It's a real bright night outside here. You ought to see it.
When isn't it on the desert?
What, Kathy?
I'm coming. I'm through now. Here, let's open it yourself.
Got my opener right here in my watch chain. Give him here. You got one for yourself, Kathy?
Didn't want one. Move over.
Lots of shooting stars out tonight.
And here we sit, looking at them. I tell you, when I was your age, Rob, and if I'd have seen myself as I am now, sitting on the front steps of a little cafe and gas pump, 10 miles from nothing but a wide spot in the road, middle of the desert.
Oh, Two Springs, not just a wide spot. 1,500-something people.
That's counting all the ranches 40 miles in every direction. And one town clock and one town constable.
Two, Jimmy Herbert and me. And it's marshal, not constable.
You aren't but half a constable, Rob. A part-time traffic cop nights. And why aren't you back guarding the town if it's so valuable? Instead of sitting here with me.
That's all right. I gotta head back in a bit and check in at 11.
Look, there's a bright one.
What? Bright what?
That shooting star over there. See it? You'd think they was wonders of nature never seen before. Regular 4th of July light-up. I'd rather look at that many silver dollars any day. And if I'd had a decent break, I'd be looking at them, too. You kids get your wishes in before it fell? What'd you wish for, Rob? Don't need to ask what Kathy wished for. Kathy?
No, Dad.
Well, I didn't say nothing bad. Don't every woman wish for good looks?
Dad.
Now, you knew I was kidding you. I wouldn't say...
Look at that one. It's coming right at us.
Where? What? Hey, look out!
It went down over there.
Get that car of yours. Plain nothing. Them meteors are worth money.
Wait for me.
Somebody's got to mind the gas pumps. You stay put.
What was it? What was it?
Let me. I'll carry it. Here. Into the house. In back.
Wait, it's one of those big rubber beach balls.
I'll put it on the sofa here. Good thing nobody's stopping for gas or a sandwich right now.
Easy.
There. Beach balls, did you say, girl? Look again.
That hole there. Like a mouth. It looks like it's breathing.
You're darn right it's breathing. We found it at the bottom of a little drop on the wash. Out there by a water boiler sort of thing.
Acts like it's knocked out.
It's moving.
Grab it. Don't let it run away.
Now go.
It talked. It said something.
I knew it. I knew it. I really got something. Something at last. I got to get back to town and report this. Hold it. You crazy boy. You out of your head? Can't you see what I got here? We can get rich off this. If we don't throw it away like dumb fools.
Let me go, Harp. I got to report. This is my duty.
Why? Who else you think knows about it? There were lots of stars shooting around tonight, weren't there? Who was around but us to see it land? That noise it made coming down wasn't much, just a bump.
Nobody'd know. No one else could. This is ours.
They're bound to find out sooner or later it came down, and if I didn't report
How
it...
they knew you heard it or saw it? I tell you, it didn't make much noise. Who's to guess? So you didn't find out about it for a couple of days. Don't you see, boy? That gives us time to figure out what to do, how to make the best of it.
But
You listen to me. This could be the best thing that happened to us. Now, you get back to town. Go on, kid. But don't say a word. I'll keep it here. Come back tomorrow. Not early, but about the time of afternoon you always drop in.
What do you do with it?
Just keep it safe. Just keep it safe. Now, get going.
Well, all right.
Dad?
We're going to be rich, girl. We're going to be rich.
Nago doesn't seem to be very communicative. But maybe there's more communication there than appears. An alien. How alien? How dangerous? How helpful? What sort of reaction? This strange beach ball thing.
Dad, where'd you get that suit? What have you been up to all day?
Sit down, Kathy.
What do you mean, sit down? Somebody's got to watch the cash register all day. First you stay up all night with that whatever it is, and then you...
I've been at the bank.
The bank?
That's right. I've been talking to Jim Goshen. I made a business loan. We're going to make some changes and improvements in the place here.
Oh, now, Dad, you know Jim wouldn't loan the bank's money to us.
We've got a good spot here. It's a natural for people to stop at after that long haul over the desert, particularly at night. And the line of motels is a good idea, too. Besides, it'd be a boost for the town. People who stop here will go on to buy things in Two Springs.
Well, what made him see that all of a sudden?
I did, girl. I should have gone in and laid things on the line to him a long time ago. I don't know why. Before, things never seemed to go right, but now...
Well, I don't see why now should be any different.
It was finding that thing in the back bedroom there that did it. It was like a sign. I felt like a new man this morning. When I walked in on Jim Goshen, I was that sure. I was that sure he didn't have a chance. Shook me by the hand when we were all done and said, Harvey, I believe in you. Yes, he did. That's just what he did.
Dad.
What? What's the matter with you now?
Dad, I don't like it.
Don't like it? For the first time since you were born, since your mother died, we look like we've got a chance in the world, and you say you don't like it.
It's so sudden. Last night, and now this.
This is what I was born to be, born to do. I was always meant to make money, only I could never get started. Now I know how to go about it. Now, that's all there is to it. How's the thing? You looked in on it?
No, I've been so busy out front.
Let's see, then. Close the door. We don't want it rolling out of here. It wants to get away back to the thing it came in. Now go.
Dad, what do you feed it?
What? Feed it? Why feed it?
Well, if you aren't going to let it go.
Now go. Feed it? Let it go? You sound like that Rob. Oh, no. I told him to stay away from here. Sit tight. Hang on to it. It'll make our fortune yet. Now go. Now go.
What's that? Who's that? Who's there?
Kathy?
Rob? What in the world? Just a minute. I've got to put on a robe. Rob, what are you doing rapping at my window in the middle of the night?
Kathy, I gotta come in.
In here?
I gotta get to see it, Kathy. Just see it for a minute or two. I'm coming in. Kathy, take me to it. It wants to see me. I can feel it.
Rob, are you drunk?
You don't understand, Kathy. It can do something for me. I know it can. Kathy, listen. Listen, you like me, don't you? Won't you do that for me? Just take me to it. I better know where it is. It's in that extra back bedroom you and your dad use as a storeroom, isn't it?
Rob, come back here. You want to wake up Dad?
Show me.
All right, but for heaven's sake, be quiet. This way. Give me your hand.
Oh, Kathy.
I'll get the lights. Now look out. It's right under your feet.
Now go. There it is. Yes. Yes.
Rob, don't look like that.
Now go. Kathy, listen. Didn't you ever want to get away? To get out into the world and do things, big things, to be famous, really famous?
Oh, Rob, you come out of here.
No, wait. Kathy, I mean it. I can do it. We can do it. All we have to do is take this thing with us. When I've got it around, I feel I know how to do it. It doesn't take much money or brains. It's just being sure. And with it, I'm sure.
Kathy, what's all that noise?
Listen, Kathy.
Kathy, what's going on out there? What are you doing?
Nothing, Dad. Go back to sleep.
Kathy.
Now go.
Take it, Rob. What would you do with it?
Keep it with us. What else? Long as it'll last.
I'm going to find out what's going on there.
Here comes Dad. You better go talk to him, Rob.
Yeah, I'll handle him. You wait here. Keep an eye on it.
I'll keep an eye on it, all right.
Now listen to me. You listen to me. Go.
And now for you.
Now go.
Now you'll try it on me, will you? Oh, yes, you know what I want. Of course you would. I can feel you making me feel the way a beautiful woman feels. But I'm not fooled like they were, those men. I know I'm plain. You hear me? I know it. You think I could live with myself all these 19 years and let you fool me in a minute? Well, go ahead. You can make me feel it, but you can't make me believe it. Never. Never. There. You see, I won. All right now, you aren't going to drive Dad or Rob crazy anymore. I'm going to take you out in the desert and lose you where they'll never find you. You come. Good thing you aren't too heavy. I know a fine hole in the side of a wash you'll never get out of.
Nago.
Don't nago me.
Nago's specialty seems to be what you might call a promissory note. She was promising things, apparently, but, a woman is peculiar in one respect. She's remarkably practical, as well as being idealistic. And the practical pragmatism doesn't yield too well to promissory notes.
Oh, here's a place that'll hold you. I'll just put you down here, open the hole a bit, lock you down with a stone. Well, aren't you going to try once more? Oh, come now. Aren't you going to try once more to make me feel lovely and wanted and pretty?
Nago.
What was it you wanted from them anyway? From Rob and my dad? What were you after anyway? You ought to be able to make some kind of an answer. Go ahead, you can't fool me anyway. I'm onto your trick of finding out what people want and making them feel they can have it. And maybe they could have. It seemed to work for Dad. But even if your making me feel attractive would make other people think so too, I still wouldn't buy a pig in a poke. You hear that?
Nago.
All right, I don't want to hurt you. Tell me what you were after and I'll leave you here to save yourself or not. I don't care. What did you want from us? What?
Nago.
I think I can hear you. Now, what? Oh, I didn't understand. I didn't know. I didn't know. No, I'll get you to it. I'll get you to it in time. This way. Oh, I'll hurry.
Abby!
He won't find us. You won't catch up in time. Oh, please hold on. Just a little longer.
Kathy! Kathy, I'm coming! I'm following your tracks! You all right? Can you hear me, Kathy?
I can see you now. Just a little farther.
Kathy!
Here. In with you, quick. There. I'll leave him now. I'll keep him back. Here I am, Rob!
Kathy! Kathy! Oh, Kathy, I thought something happened. I was crazy back there. I don't know what got into me. Kathy, I don't want what I said. All I want... Oh, you had me so scared when I found you gone.
Me? You were worried about me? Oh, Rob.
But, Kathy, that thing... I gotta find it, Kathy. Maybe it's dangerous. You don't know.
It's all right. You don't have to worry anymore. She's going home.
Kathy, you let it go? But you don't know what it tried. How could you trust it to go free? You don't understand.
There she goes. Wave to her, Rob. Wave to her with me. Of course I know. We were the ones who didn't understand. We forgot anyone could think of anybody but themselves. She's a mother, Rob. And of course she'd do anything, promise anything, to get back home to her child.
With a preconception. But how can you tell when you don't know the meaning of the clues? Is it a warrior? A scout seeking to bring in an invading crew? A scientist? Or perhaps a lost child? Or a mother who's missed a turn and trying to get home to baby? We start with a preconception, but preconceptions aren't always right. This time they weren't.
The program you are about to hear is fiction, science fiction. We make no guarantees, however, how long it will remain fiction.
Exploring tomorrow. Here is your guide to these adventures of the mind, the editor of Astounding Science Fiction magazine, John Campbell, Jr.
Dreams are a remarkable thing, a remarkable power of the human mind. Freud, the psychoanalytical school, has held very important. But there's one aspect of dreaming that they deny, they overlook, perhaps. That's tonight's story. If someone handed you a photograph of a man's face and said, do you know who this is? Suppose that was a photograph of yourself 20 years from now. You'd have an awful hard time recognizing that. We can recognize a picture of something that we have seen. It is impossible to recognize something that we haven't yet seen. Let's say we have a patient who comes into a analyst's office, a badly frightened man.
Dr. Sharp, my name's Jim Bedford. I got your name from the National Health Trust. They say you're the quick shock analyst they'd recommend in this area.
It's nice of the Health Trust to say that. It builds up my morale in these troubled post-war times.
It speaks very highly of you. I feel so darn silly running to a psychiatrist. That's for old ladies. Maybe we better forget it. I've got a lot of pressing work that I really should be taking care of.
Let's see, Mr. Bedford. Now, according to the data you gave my secretary, you're with the State War Reclaim Bureau.
Yes, that's right. I'm regional director. I've been with the Bureau all my adult life since 1971. Since the Doom War.
It must be rewarding work watching the radioactive ash cleared away, houses and stores springing up again after so many decades, seeing the city itself come back from the rubble, knowing you could take a good share of the credit.
It's going to be a long task, another generation.
Sit down and you tell me about it.
No couch? I thought all you psychoanalysts had couches. This office building was lucky to escape being hit.
Yes, it's one of the few pre-war buildings left in this part of Sacramento. Matter of fact, it was your War Reclaim Bureau that loaned my family the money to rebuild.
Doctor, why is this happening to me? What am I going to do? I have to stay at my job. Nobody else can do it. Nobody else knows this area the way I do. Nobody knows the people here the way I do.
You were born here, William?
Yes, I've lived in Sacramento all my life.
What is it that's bothering you?
I have some kind of hallucination, and it keeps getting worse. I've tried to shake it, but it comes back bigger and stronger. Now it's getting so that I can't work. I can't do my job.
I'm starting up recall-inducing equipment, Mr. Bedford. It'll put you in a state of semi-sleep for a few moments. I'd like you to tell me what this hallucination is. Then maybe I can tell you why you have it. And maybe help you deal with it.
Damage inventories. Must be 1 million of them stuck in the basket today alone. Oh, I ought to quit and go to bed and get some sleep. Where's the report on that mutant rat they've been killing? One that spins webs. Better okay the extermination program. Poisoned grain probably be best if it eats grain. Probably have to ask for federal aid. Not enough funds to do the job right. Oh, I'll okay the extermination and hope they can raise the funds. Bad enough to have ordinary rodent infestation. Plague carriers, the worst possible sanitation menace.
Menace? Huh?
Oh, it's you, Giller. How did you get into my apartment?
Front door was unlocked. I'm sorry to interrupt your work.
Well, I was about to stop. What time is it? Past midnight. You want a beer? I'm going to have one.
Siphoning valuable grain off to make beer in these times of need. Must be nice to be a big wheel and have luxuries. Your own stove, refrigerator. You know, I haven't had beer since last May.
You'll survive. You've always managed to. Trade some of that black market coffee of yours or some of those eggs from your chickens.
You know, we lost all our chickens. That blood disease from the old H-bomb blast. Take a look at this.
Your application for aid?
Turned down.
I know.
Why?
Don't ask me why. Oh, okay. I'm the responsible person. I turned it down.
You and I have been friends since we were kids.
So what?
You get a kick out of it, lording it over the people you've known. People who were something in the community before the Doom War. People you had to look up to and say sir to.
I'm sorry about your poultry farm. I'm sorry for all the poultry raisers, you included, and the beef raisers and the walnut growers, but certain things have to be rebuilt before others. Heavy industry comes first. Factories, steel and cement and fuel producers, synthetic fabric.
We're your people.
Good night, Giller. Write me a letter on the proper form.
I'll talk to you in a few days about my application for aid. Maybe you'll change your mind. Come around.
Giller ever got that farm going, he'd be the biggest black market operator in California. $5 a piece for grade A eggs, and he knows where to get it. Everybody trying to swing a deal, make money, cash in on people's hunger. I wonder if he's really gone, or if he's hanging around outside. People like him get on my nerves. I better go see. Make sure.
Psychoanalytic practice. A dream of falling tends to indicate that the patient has some kind of fear of a basic insecurity, a feeling that he's faced with a problem that he must solve and can't solve. But he's got to solve it, but he can't solve it, but it must be solved.
Mr. Bedford. I'm falling. Help me, I'm falling!
No, you're not. You're here in my office, sitting in a chair.
Yes. But I was falling. I started to go out of my apartment. I opened the door to the hall, and there wasn't any floor under my feet, just emptiness. And I tried to grab hold of something, and there wasn't anything, nothing at all, anywhere. Just darkness.
What happened next? Were you hurt?
Doctor, how could I have been hurt? It was just in my mind. Maybe I stumbled or something, but I didn't fall, because there was no place to fall.
Momentary dizziness from overwork, fatigue.
Yes, maybe.
And since then, you've had a fear of falling.
A phobia. Phobia about high places.
Okay, Mr. Bedford, let's try another recall. Now, this time, I want you to remember more about the falling and your friend Giller.
Oh! Stop it! Don't kill me! Don't throw me over the rail, please!
Shut up! Well, you probably think I'm going to give you one last chance before we toss you off this ramp.
It's not my fault. I tried to get funds. Bureau's short on funds. Terrible task ahead.
He can't hear you.
Bedford, I came to you and begged you to okay our application, but you turned us down. You did all you could to block it.
Black market rabble? Police never seem to get you all. Probably bought off.
That's right, bought off. Now, look, Bedford, for old time's sake, you want to get in on this along with us. I'll let you in. I have a sentimental feeling towards you. I think you sincerely felt you shouldn't okay our application.
I never will. Even if you kill me.
Oh, you mean that?
I got my job, responsibility. Heavy industry comes first.
Remember when there were eggs, how the shells looked when they were dropped? Remember how it felt to crush the eggshell underfoot? How did that old nursery rhyme go about putting the pieces of the shell back together? By the way, Bedford, we're making sure the next regional director isn't so devoted to heavy industry. We're getting in somebody with, shall we say, an agricultural frame of mind?
Okay, let's finish this up and get going. Get him over the rail. It's almost a mile to the ground. How could a thing like this happen to me and be forgotten? Can a person forget being knocked down, kicked, and threatened with death?
It wasn't forgotten. It remained buried beneath, repressed. We'll have to try some more recall, Mr. Bedford. So far, I don't have enough to go on. Now, this business of Giller and his men beating and terrorizing you provides what's called the traumatic incident, the moment of fear that starts the chain reaction of repression going. But, are you willing to try another recall?
Not now, Doctor.
We shouldn't stop at this point.
I couldn't stand anymore. Tomorrow, maybe.
We'd better go on now, Mr. Bedford. Now, from what you recall, I got an impression that there's no time to waste. I don't think they just beat you up and threatened you. I think they did throw you over the rail to your death. I think they killed you.
All right, Doctor. I'll let you start your recall and disengage it again, but don't make me go back to that moment. Something else. I couldn't stand to see them standing there above me. Higher and higher, and then the ramp and the railing disappearing.
This time, I'd like you to think of something pleasant, satisfying. Perhaps a day in your work when you were particularly pleased with what you accomplished.
The public baths. Kids splashing around, lots of hot water. Wonder how many of us would be dead by now. Dead from contamination from the perpetual fallout if we hadn't built those huge pools and fountains over there. It's the hardest decision I ever made. I felt like a lunatic, giving them the go-ahead. A lot of people were angry about that. But after I saw the figures from the Anti-Radiation Committee, it had to be done. No matter how many people got angry. I know my duty. It's to the whole people, not a few special groups here and there.
You say you okayed the building of mass public baths, and you actually stood and watched the people bathing.
That's right. Togas, like ancient times.
Mr. Bedford, I want you to listen to me carefully. I have something important to say to you.
What's wrong, Doctor?
Well, as a licensed general practitioner, I've been interested in the idea of public baths as an anti-radiation measure. In my opinion, it's a sound idea. But the proposal hasn't yet been put through. No baths have been built. It'll be at least 5 years before the baths can be put into operation.
usual. If a man has a dream of the future, it's awfully hard to identify its source, because the source hasn't happened yet.
Tell me, Bedford, you were exposed to a great deal of radiation in the early part of your life, and so were your parents.
That's right.
We all were. We all went through the blasts and the heavy fallout of the war, the contamination of our food, water, homes, clothing. Do you remember any unusual exposure, either to you or to your parents, radiation approaching a dangerous maximum?
Let me try to remember. I'm confused. You think I'm some sort of a freak.
Stop sitting there in the chair insulting yourself. You have to make plans.
Plans? There's nothing I can do. There's no way I can stop him.
Try to remember any toxic dose of radiation, especially in the earliest part of your life. Now go back to the enemy missile attack. Sirens. Can you hear sirens? You're possibly running toward a shelter. Your family running, too. Across a field, maybe.
I'm sorry, Doctor. I've had all I can take. I'll see you again some other time.
You're leaving?
Thanks for the help. I've got to consider all this. Maybe I'm not remembering the future. Maybe it's just a false memory, a neurotic fantasy.
How could we check?
If it's really in the future...
What's the matter?
I can't get up.
What?
I can't stand up. I'm afraid I'll fall. Doctor, now I can't even get to my feet.
Well, make yourself comfortable in your chair, and we'll go on with the therapy, as I said we should.
I guess I have no choice.
Now, you know what we're after this time. At some point in your life, you apparently were exposed to a near-toxic dose of radiation.
Wait for me. Hey, don't leave me behind. Come on back. Hey, Tony, wait for me.
Hurry up.
Okay. Let's get down. Get the metal lid off. And listen. They're almost here. Get the lid of the shelter up so we can get down there and be safe.
You scared, Jimmy?
Yes. Open that lid.
Not until you apologize for what you said in class the other day. You said my family moved here because they thought nobody would bomb this sector. You said my family was scared of being bombed. Okay, let's see.
Yes, I remember. When Tony and I were kids during the war. We got the scuffling, seeing who was braver. And while we were scuffling, the first warhead exploded a couple of miles up the coast.
So that's where you got the near-toxic dose?
Yes. The whole place was saturated. Hot. They had to rope off the rubble, close the roads. I was in the hospital for a month, down in the underground medical wards along with the real casualties.
Weren't you a real casualty?
No, I wasn't hurt. They made all the tests. They found no sign of tissue damage, blood count okay, bone marrow unaffected, no cancerous formations.
But now you know you were affected.
Yeah, I was affected.
Now listen to me, Mr. Bedford. You still have time to re-examine your dealings with Giller.
You mean give him the Bureau funds he wants so he can set up his black market operations?
No, Dr. Sharp.
I have my responsibility to the people of this area. Those funds have to be given to the proper applicants.
Even if it means your life?
Yes, even if it means my life. I'm still not going to give Giller the funds.
I respect you, Mr. Bedford. I can see why the government gave you the job.
I've tried to do it right. I feel proud of what I've done. The hygienic baths, evidently I'll be successful there. That alone makes it worthwhile. I don't feel too depressed. All in all, it was worth it. A lot of people died in the war. My death comes a number of years later, but, well, I can possibly consider it as a bona fide war death.
With honor.
Hey, look, I can stand up now. I'm on my feet. Bringing up that material about the radiation exposure must have done it.
Do you intend to come back again and see me?
No, there doesn't seem to be much of a reason.
I'd like to keep on trying. Maybe there's a junction of possible futures. Some point in time at which we can deflect the future that's waiting for you.
I'll think about it. Goodbye, Doctor. And thanks a lot for trying.
Johnny Giller. I'm sorry to bother you, but this constitutes an emergency. I got... Well, it's a compulsion. And it's following up my life.
Sit down. Tell me about it.
I have an irresistible urge to push people.
Push people?
Towards windows, out. What am I going to do, Doc? There was a little shrimp of a guy I pushed once, and one day a girl was standing ahead of me on an escalator, and I shoved her. She was injured. I'm afraid I'll eventually kill somebody someday. Some perfectly harmless person who never did anything wrong in his life.
The stone is never afraid of anything. The stone has no sense of futurity, no sense of a future to control. Wherefore, it has no fear. If you can feel fear, it means that you can sense the future. To the extent that you can sense the future, you can control it. You don't have to be stuck with any particular future. If you take the trouble to dream about the future, then you have a chance to do something about the future. If you don't like atomic wars, you have a chance to do something about it, provided you dream that it's there. Nightmare or not, you have a chance to do something.
Now step into the incredible, amazing future as we go exploring tomorrow. And now here is your guide to these adventures of the mind, John Campbell, Jr.
For many years, a lot of us have been interested in considering the possibilities of meeting other life forms, other intelligent beings from other stars. Now, if there is life out there, some form of life, and remember, it may be beyond our most far-fetched imaginations. If there is life, and we have our own Earth ships going out in constant, regular deep space exploration, someday, somewhere, maybe even out in the gas cloud of the Crab Nebula. Sometime we will meet.
Step it up. Step it up, the scanner. Maximum. Maximum magnification. Maximum mag. More. Sorry, sir. Max is max. You see? Can you see? Now, visibly. Quarter it. Quarter it, sir. Step up the scanner. Step it up. Don't you understand? I've got to see. Nothing. According to the reading, Captain, nothing, sir. Sir, Captain, hold it. On the bow quarter. Huh? Solid object. 80,000 miles, sir. 1 o'clock. Unknown object changing. 12 o'clock. Sound collision. Make ready, Mr. Dort.
Now hear this. The captain will now address the ship. First, you've heard the collision alarm. You will all now take action stations. Man all weapons. Condition of extreme alert. Red. I repeat, red in all departments. Instrumentation tells us there is an unknown solid object less than 80,000 miles dead as we go. There is a locator beam on us. I repeat, there was an unknown locator on us, giving us unexpected feedback echo. Men, we are not a warship. May the Almighty be with us. That is all.
Mister?
Nothing, sir. Now I see nothing on the busy place.
Oh.
But radio locator. Here, look at it, sir.
Up and down, up and down.
Something monstrous. Monster in size, sir, making lunatic dashes toward us.
At collision speed.
Then skipping away at the same fantastic speed.
We are not a warship.
Here it comes. There it goes away again. All on radio locate. On busy plate by eye, nothing. Can't detect a thing.
How many solar systems in our galaxy? How many? How many planets fit for life? And how many kinds of life could there be? If this ship isn't from Earth, and it isn't, it has a crew that isn't human. And things that aren't human but are up to the level of deep space travel in their civilization could mean anything.
Yes, sir.
Something like this has been talked about and speculated about for years. Mathematically, it's been an odds-on bet that somewhere in our galaxy there'd be another race with a civilization equal to or further advanced than ours. Nobody could ever guess where or when we'd meet them. It looks like we've done it now.
Well, do you suppose they'll be friendly, Captain?
Thank the Almighty for the blasters.
Here they come in for us fast again, sir. Oh,
pulling away again. Yes, I can read the beam.
If you'll pardon, sir, the blasters are for meteorites, sir. They were never, were they, designed as space weapons?
They can serve as pretty good ones. Because we don't know what they're like, you fool! And we can't take a chance. We can't trust them the fraction of an inch. Sure, I know. Let's try and find out all we can about them. Let's meet. Let's try to be friends with that ship out there. Well, we don't. And you realize why? Because they have locators. Because they might trace us all the way back home without our knowing it. And we can't risk a non-human race knowing where Earth is unless we're sure of them. And how can we be sure? Do you know, Mr. Dort? Do you know, Mr. Dort, with your sentimental Pollyanna slush pile that calls itself your brain, your mind?
Unidentified object retreating against our locator, sir.
Back and forth. Back and forth, the game goes on. They're afraid. We're afraid. Oh, sure. They could come to trade, of course. Import, export. That wouldn't hurt. Or maybe these creatures will be aesthetic marvels, nice and friendly and polite, and underneath the Tojo type. Or am I going to risk the possible future of the human race on a guess that it's safe to trust them? The one thing I won't risk is having them know how to find Earth. Either I know they can't follow me or I don't go home. And they probably feel the same way. Ready to ship for supplemental command.
There, sir. By sight, on the busy plate.
I see it. For the first time by eye. It's a small...
No, sir. It's bigger and bigger.
Bulb. Bulbous shape, like a pear.
Headed for us at extremely high acceleration, sir.
Hard about.
Hard about, sir.
Put us about. Put us about. He's crossing the T. Dort, patch me a relay. Put a relay key to the blasters. Direct to the blasters under my hand.
This is the captain. Ready, blasters. Collision course with unidentified space object. Maximum power. Ready, blasters, section 1. This is it, men.
Exploring Tomorrow continues in just a moment.
All of us, as American citizens, believe in our inherent liberties and freedoms, such as the freedom of the individual to choose and elect his own national representatives. It has been said that there is only one ruling class in America, the people themselves, who, through their vote, have established the law of our land. The real importance of this freedom depends on our accepting the responsibility not only to know what we are voting for or against, but also to choose our leaders for the best interests of the nation. So, accept your responsibility and ensure your freedom.
2 spaceships, 2 scientific expeditions, each uncountable miles from their own home. One from Earth, one from where?
The other ship stopped, Captain.
Cut power.
Quite stationary, sir.
Captain to crew. Steady as you are. Unidentified space object, now stationary. Do not fire. I repeat, fire only on command. This is a trick. You will fire only on command from myself and only when verified. As you are.
Stop dead, sir. They are. Dead for sure. Have a look.
How far do you make them?
Range 20 miles, Captain. Now they're sending modulated shortwave at us, sir.
Frequency modulated?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I see your needle. Apparently a signal. Not enough power to do any harm.
Look up in the left bow visiplate, sir. There's something now.
Yes, I see movement on the outside of their hull. Their cold black hull. We shine like a mirror. Did you ever hear of a jet black spaceship, mister?
We want to reflect the sun. Perhaps they...
Honor a need to absorb heat from a passing sun. Yeah, I know. Now, what's that thing?
Small, round, whatever it is, it's coming out of the side of the ship.
Watch.
Huh?
You're dripping sweat on your instruments.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir.
Yes, I realize what they're up to. If they sent anything toward us, it might seem a projectile or a bomb. So they come close, let out a lifeboat, and go away again. Figure we can send a boat or a man to make contact without risking our whole ship, too.
Captain, that means they think...
Pretty much as we do. Yes, I'm glad that finally occurred to you. Mr. Dort, by law of Space Command, I'm not allowed to leave my ship except to jettison. Mr. Dort, this is not an order.
No, sir.
And would you care to go out and look the thing over, whatever it is?
The alien ship continued to retreat. 40, 80, 400 miles. It came to a stop and hung out there, waiting. Earthman Tommy Dort, climbing into his atomic-driven spacesuit inside the airlock, heard this mileage report and felt safer, but just a little bit safer. For if the unknown black space intruder had stopped its retreat at 400 miles, he reasoned it might not have weapons effective at a greater distance. But Tommy felt lonely and a little expendable, speeding toward that tiny black dot which hung in the incredible brightness of the star gas. 4,000 light years from his wife and family and home. Speeding toward that tiny black spot, the only solid object he could see in all this glowing space. And then he landed. It was a slightly distorted sphere, not much over 6 feet in diameter. There were small tentacles or horns projecting from this black space orange. They looked rather like the detonating horns of an old-era submarine mine, but there was a glint of crystal at the tip of each. Then through his suit he began to feel vibrations. A section of the rounded hull beneath his feet opened up. He moved sideways fast. It opened up and out, and when he looked inside into the now open insides of the little sphere, no, he didn't see the first non-human civilized beings he expected. What he saw was simply a flat plate, and on that flat plate a dim red glow of light came and went. Even inside the protection of his spaceship, Tom Dort felt the hairs in his neck rise and bristle. In momentary terror, he pressed his sleeve button switch communicator.
Very good, Mr. Dort. Don't panic. No need to panic. Fix your scanner to look into that plate. Harry, these creatures are our equal.
But, sir...
They dumped out a robot with an infrared visiplate for communication, is all. Not risking interpersonnel. Good SOP for them. Whatever we might do would only damage machinery. That's good. That means they value life as you value yours. Maybe, though, they expect us to pull you with a sphere in on board. It may have a bomb charge that can be detonated when they're ready to blow for their own home. I'll send a visiplate out with a man to face one of its scanners. You return to the ship. Well done, Dort.
Yes, sir. But which way is the ship?
Head straight away from the Double Star. We'll pick you up, Dort.
A tiny black bulbous robot floated in space between two spaceships. Ours and theirs. Represented a culture, theirs, which was at least up to ours. Now our two races could be friends. We could also be deadly enemies. We were a monstrous menace to them, and they to us. And the only safe thing to do with a menace is, of course, to destroy it.
This truce, weeks and weeks. It's starting to get the crew.
Mr. Dort.
I'm busy. Still calculating, Captain.
Now, let's see. Where was I in thinking? How do we establish friendship without risk of treachery? Friendship is based upon confidence. Or is it? Can confidence be established on a foundation of necessarily complete distrust?
If you can be patient a bit longer, sir, I think I've figured out a way we can talk their language. I mean, communicate. Since they seem to be stone deaf.
You can?
I think, sir.
You can?
I believe now, sir, we can say almost anything we wish to them and understand what they say back. But, of course, sir, you'll never be able to know how much of what they say is the truth.
Well, neither will they about us. Go on, mister.
Well, I've managed to hook up what amounts to a mechanical translator. We showed them our recorder in the vision plates, and they showed us theirs. They record the FM direct, I think. Now, they don't use sound at all, even in speech. My guess is, sir, that they use microwaves for what you might call person-to-person conversation. I think they make short-wave trains as we make sounds.
Telepathy?
Yes, sir. I think, sir. I'm ready if you are. If you are, that is, prepared to talk with their skipper.
Turn on your mechanical translator. What shall I say to them, Dort? What shall I say?
They're waiting. They keep sending something like a CQ. They're oxygen breathers, sir, and they appear not too dissimilar in certain ways. I'm sure I detected signs of irony.
Irony?
I mean, sir, that implies humor. In other words, sir, I think they could be likable.
All right. Send this.
Hurry, sir. They're acting suspicious.
All right. Say, the appropriate things about this first contact of two dissimilar but civilized races, and that my hope that a friendly intercourse between the two peoples will result.
Excuse, sir. What appropriate things? Oh, just a second, sir. The skipper sends you the following, quote, "That is all very well, but is there any way for us to let each other go home alive? I would be happy to hear of such a way if you can contrive one. At the moment, it seems to me that one of us must be killed." Unquote.
All right, then. Send this. Look here out there, whoever you are. It looks like we have to fight, and one batch of us gets killed. All right, we're ready if we have to. But if you win, we've got it fixed so you'll never find out where Earth is. And there's a good chance we'll get you anyhow. We've stayed here a month, and we've swapped information, and we don't hate each other. There's no reason for us to fight, except to protect our races.
Well, he says, sir, yes, all you say is true, but that his race has to be protected just as you feel that yours must be. He says, quote, "Perhaps this will help us to think clearly. Suppose we make it so we can't find each other's home planet, but leave a way to communicate in the future. So work out grounds for a common trust. If our governments want to be fools, let them. But we should give them the chance to make friends instead of starting a space war out of mutual panic," unquote.
All right, I have it. Send this. Okay, sir. Whoever you are, let's swap spaceships. Send it, send it.
He answers, "Interesting. What is rest of your swapping proposal?"
Send this. Swap ships and crews. I remove all star charts and anything else evidential. He removes all his navigational records. We train each other's key crewmen, and I go for home with my crew and his ship. He goes for home with his crew and his ship. That's my proposal. Tell him that's final. If he refuses, I'll blast.
Hold on, please, sir. He says, accepted. He says, accepted. With one proviso that we arrange to meet here, at this star pit, in exactly one astronome of the double star.
Agreed. To us, that'll be a year. Send it.
Now hear this. On signal, prepare to abandon ship. We sail for home as soon as we have learned to man controls of unidentified space object. And good Godspeed to us all. We will all see Earth again as soon as we are trained, and we train them.
There's a hidden assumption in the story we just heard that any intelligent entity can and may lie. I wonder just what a lie is and why it is that we expect intelligent entities to lie. Could a machine lie? Could an intelligent machine lie? Well, next time we have a discussion on that I think you'll find interesting. It's called Liar.
Join us for a fascinating adventure in Exploring Tomorrow. Heard in our cast tonight were Lon Clark and Lawson Zerbe. Script was by Murray Leinster, adapted by Peter Irving. Produced and directed by Sanford Marshall here in New York. Bill Maher speaking.
We pause now for station identification.
The program you are about to hear is fiction, science fiction. We make no guarantees, however, how long it will remain fiction.
Exploring Tomorrow. And now here is your guide to these adventures of the mind, the editor of Astounding Science Fiction magazine, John Campbell, Jr.
The scene is a missile testing base somewhere in the continental United States. The time, 2:30 on a Tuesday afternoon, 5, maybe 10 years from now. A rather unusual missile is getting worked over. Blast off is 10 minutes away, and the countdown is in its last stages. And a man is sitting inside this missile, waiting. The United States is about to make its first attempt to send a manned rocket to the moon.
9 minutes to blast off, Captain. Still feel loose and easy?
Like a bird, Colonel, waiting to be cut loose and soar. How do you feel?
Me, Captain? I'm just sitting here in the observation tower. You're the one in the launching pad. You're the man going to the moon.
And you're the one who has to face all the reporters after blastoff. Me, I'm glad I'll be up there alone. How much time left, Colonel?
6 minutes, 20 seconds. Let's run through the schedule one last time.
Okay. I sit in this cradle and I wait for the rockets to toss me up into space. I get 500 seconds of 4G acceleration. Then I sit around and look out the viewport for the next 4 days while the ship coasts in 0G free fall. I'm roughly 8 1/4 minutes past 4 on Sunday afternoon. The autopilot is going to turn the rocket engines on again, long enough to land me in the Oceanus Procellarum, which better be as dry as the Palomar boys say it is. I climb into my little Jim Dandy spacesuit, wander around the moon for a while, take some snapshots, pick up a couple of rocks as souvenirs. And 15 hours after landing, I get back into my ship and I come home. Did I leave anything out?
Not a thing, Captain. 3 minutes, 10 seconds.
Well, all I do is sit here and wait anyway. Computer down below in the belly of the ship does all the work. Me, Mike Wellman, first man on the moon. Maybe, anyway.
What do you mean, maybe? The ship's been tested thoroughly. There's no possibility of...
A blow-up? No, go ahead. Don't be afraid to say it. I wasn't talking about that. The odds are pretty good that this bird is going to get me there. The only thing I'm wondering about is whether someone else is going to get there ahead of me. I'd hate to find a big vodka party going on when I get there.
90 seconds. They're clearing the launching pad, Captain. We better break contact now. Good luck. The next time I hear from you, it's going to be from space.
Sure, Colonel. I'll report as soon as I'm in free fall. Then radio messages every 4 hours. You won't forget about those baseball scores, will you?
Score
I'm rooting for the Dodgers. So long, Colonel. See you next week when I get back.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark.
Are you reading me launching base? How do I come in?
We're in sharp, Captain.
Oh, glad to hear it. Okay, ship's time, 1,452 hours. Blast off went fine from this end. I got through acceleration good enough. 4 Gs isn't much fun, but I don't mind it in 8-minute stretches. The ship's in free fall now, no gravity at all. And it's weird, all right. Even after all those hours in the training chamber, I still feel a little strange. Very quiet up here. Nice. Man really can think here. The view is really something. Where do you see the photos?
How about the psychological reaction? You don't feel cut off?
Me? A guy whose idea of heaven is being along with some books? Colonel, I like it up here. The psych test said I was an introvert, didn't they?
Well, not really. Just sort of solitary-minded.
Same thing. Well, it's us solitary-minded people who are going to be your spacemen, Colonel. We don't mind the loneliness. Listen, Colonel, how are the cosmic ray readings coming through?
Perfect. All the equipment seems to be functioning.
Including the pilot. Or rather, the live cargo, because that's all I really am. Okay, Colonel, I got a few odd jobs to do on board. And I'll be talking to you again in 4 hours. Over. Here I am again, Colonel. 2 days out, still no sweat. I'm getting used to this no-gravity business, and I...
Go on with the rest of the report, Captain. There's been a change in the operational plans.
Huh? What kind of change?
You want landing on the moon. Pentagon orders are for you to adjust the computer to alternate course B. Circle the moon and return to Earth without landing.
Hey, wait a minute, sir. How come the switch?
Well, it's an awkward situation, Captain. You see, between the time I last spoke to you and now, the Russians... I know this will come as kind of a shock to you. The Russians made a successful landing on the moon.
No.
Radio Moscow announced it 2 hours ago. And since then, we've picked up broadcasts from the Russian ship. They've landed, all right.
They beat us to it. By 2 stinking days. 2 days earlier, and I would have been the first.
You haven't heard the worst part of it yet. The Russians have claimed the moon.
They what?
Like Columbus claiming the Western Hemisphere. We're putting up a yell, of course, but there just isn't any precedent for this kind of thing. The UN is meeting to decide whether they have any right to.
So this is why I can't land, huh?
The Russians say they'll regard any lunar landing as trespassing on their property. We can't risk an incident, of course. So for the time being, we're going to hold back and wait till the legal aspect of this business is worked out.
So I can't land. You send me up here and I ride around for a week and don't even put my foot down on the moon. Colonel. Russia doesn't own the moon, no matter what they say.
Captain Woman.
I'm sorry, Colonel. I'm more than halfway there, and I'm darned if I'm going to miss my chance. I'm going to land, sir.
Well, then, listen to me. You can't disobey orders.
Yes, I can, sir. I'm landing. Over and out.
It's not that the moon wasn't meant for man. It's just that man was never designed for the moon. It's a fantastically inhospitable place. Harsh, blinding sunlight with no atmosphere to dim it. Jagged shadows. The rocks are hard, sharp-edged. There has been no weathering to soften them, and the shadows are just as hard and black. It's not a nice place to be alone. Or even when there's only one other human being within 200,000 miles.
I don't know if you want to hear from me again, Colonel, but I'm beaming this anyway. Look, I just wanted to let you know that I've landed on the moon as originally scheduled. Yeah, right on the nose, in the designated landing area. Northern branch of the Oceanus Procellarum. And you can tell the Palomar fellows that they were right all along. Maybe this was an ocean once, but not in the last million years or so. As for the Russian ship, it isn't any hoax. I saw it when I came down. It's about 50 miles north of here. Maybe later I'll break out the rocket sled and wander over there for some vodka. The Russians are trying to contact me now. I better shift channel, see what they want. Over, Colonel. Come on in, Ivan. Да, нет, товарищ, ничего. I'm afraid that uses up my Russian vocabulary, Ivan. How's your English?
I am Captain Dmitry Novikov, Solid Space Forces. You are illegally trespassing on our property, American.
I am, huh? Say, your English is pretty good, but your politics isn't. You say the moon is yours, huh? Lunar Soviet Socialist Republic? I'm sorry to disagree. Just getting here first doesn't give you the right to claim the whole place, you know.
The matter has been considered by our legal experts. We have established trial claim. I am under orders to request you to leave Russian territory immediately.
But this is cockeyed, claiming the whole moon. Now, look here, Dmitri.
You will address me as Captain Novikov.
Okay. Now, look here, Novikov. The moon's a big place, and there's room for a lot of us up here. It really isn't fair to want to hog the whole thing yourself.
The Presidium said Soviet policy, not space pilots. I'm instructed to warn you that you are trespassing. I do not wish to debate the matter with you.
So I'm trespassing then. What are you going to do about it?
My ship is armed.
And you can't figure out any better way of celebrating the conquest of space and starting a war about it?
The United States ordered you not to make a landing. They recognize our claim. We cannot tolerate violation of our rights.
And you're going to be nasty about it, I see, huh? Well, I'll take my chances. Now I've got some work to do before I go back. I'll be leaving the moon in 14 hours and a bit. Hey, now, how long are you staying up here? You've been here better than 2 days already. You planning to hold the fort forever?
My plans for departure should not concern you.
Well, I'm just curious, that's all. Okay, Dmitri. Maybe I'll be talking to you again soon. And yeah, you, sneaky son of a gun, congratulations. You did get here first. Over. Come in, launching base. You hear me?
We're getting you, Wellman. We read you.
Look, I just had a little chat with the Ruski. There seems to be only one of them. He gave me some malarkey about firing on me if I don't clear off the moon right away.
Wellman, you insubordinate idiot, you're liable to touch off a war over this moon trip.
Well, what was I supposed to do? Smile politely and turn back just because they got here first? You think they have any right to claim the moon?
Of course not. That's not the point. You were ordered not to risk trouble by landing.
Yeah, and I landed anyway. Well, go ahead. Chop my head off when I get back to Earth. Meanwhile, I'm here, and if that Russian doesn't blow me up, I expect to do a little exploring in the next 14 hours.
I don't think the Russian is going to blow you up. He's got his own troubles.
What do you mean?
We've decoded some of the messages he's been sending back to Moscow. Seems he made a faulty landing and has to make some repairs on his ship. It may take him a week or two, and he doesn't have enough food. Russia may be crowing about claiming the moon, but it's going to look bad for them if their spaceman can't get back. Starved to death.
Yeah, that would be rough. Maybe I better call him back and see if I can help him out.
Well, then leave him alone. He's a Russian.
He's a human being. And so am I. Get off the wire and let me call him, Colonel.
I order you not to make any overtures to that Russian.
Look, I'm not on Earth now. There doesn't need to be a Cold War up here, too, Colonel. And I have plenty of food to spare. Give the folks back home my love. I'm going to call Ivan again.
It's one thing to make a claim to say, this is mine. It's something else to hold on to it and make the claim stick. Somewhat like the Colonel. It was a little difficult for him to enforce the orders he was trying to give to the man on the moon.
Novikov, you getting me?
You have 3 hours to leave Russian territory. Then I must commence action.
Now, look, don't give me that stuff. I know your ship's disabled and you're in trouble.
This is untrue. My ship is in good condition.
Dan Trotsky was Rasputin's brother. You know, Novikov, I sometimes feel I'm the only sane man in a world of lunatics. Those idiots down there in Washington didn't want me to land because it might make Moscow sore. And you don't want any help from me because I'm not a good Marxist. It's a losing battle, Dimitri. Everyone seems to know what he really wants, and yet everybody tries hard to get the opposite.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. You just sit tight. I'm going to launch the rocket sled and get over your way with a couple of cartons of provisions. If you won't take food from a lackey of Wall Street, that's your business. I'm coming over anyway. Good to get that helmet off. Hello, Novikov. My name's Mike Wellman.
Why have you done this? What trick are you playing?
Listen, friend, all I'm doing is bringing some of my spare food. Nothing up my sleeve at all.
I do not understand that. Up my sleeve?
It's a decadent capitalist idiom. It means I'm not trying to fool you. The supplies are out on the rocket sled. Get into your suit and let's bag them in.
I said I would fire on you. And you bring me food?
Yeah, silly, isn't it? But they told me they picked up your messages to Moscow. That you were going to be stuck here a few weeks for repairs.
I was not telling the truth.
Hmm?
This ship will never take off again. The rear rocket tubes are hopelessly crumpled. The fuel field lines are severed. It was a very poor landing. I gave incorrect data to the computer.
And you told them you could fix it?
They do not like to receive news of failure. Leave me alone, American. Take your food and go away.
Hey, what are you going to eat? Rocks? There won't be a rescue ship up here for a month, at least.
There will be no rescue ship for me. I do not deserve rescue.
You'll just sit up here and starve to death?
I made a faulty landing. I cannot return to my country now.
And I disobeyed orders. I wasn't supposed to land because the moon is red property now. But the only Russian here is stranded, helpless.
Do not mock me.
I'm not. There's a fine bunch of spacemen you and me are. You smash up your ship, and I disobey half my orders. But I'm glad I disobeyed anyway. At least there'll be one practical result of my trip. I'll be saving a man's life. You? Sure. You're coming back with me to Earth. We can jettison some of the meters and stuff and make room for you. I bet you don't weigh more than 150. We can manage. Sure. But save the butts for later. And if you're trying to argue me out of it, I'll slug you. Hello, Colonel. I'm on my way home. Pretty fair blast off, and we're 20,000 miles out from the moon now. Oh, I left a little of the equipment behind. The next ship can pick it up. And I've got a passenger.
You mean that Russian?
Yeah. Seems the ship was wrecked, so I talked him into coming back with me. He's down back in the galley fixing lunch now. I guess we'll both be called traitors for saying it, but we've sort of become friends. And he doesn't think Russia ought to claim the moon either.
Well, we have one distinction anyway. Maybe a Russian ship was the first to get to the moon, but it was an American one that made the first successful round trip.
I like to think of it in a different way. Not an American ship or a Russian ship. Stuff like that shouldn't matter anymore. Call it a ship from Earth. Yeah. Novikov and I started out separately, but we're coming back together. The first expedition from Earth to Moon is coming home. Who owns the moon is really very simple. It belongs to man, of course, to mankind. Earth is really a twin planet. No other planet we know of has a moon that's practically as big as the planet itself. The moon is Earth's smaller sister, and it, like the Earth, belongs to man. We earned it. We worked for it. For 3 billions of years, we have been evolving and struggling and growing. The next growth is out to the moon. We're on our way.
We don't know very much about the mind, a lot less than the psychologists pretend they do. In particular, we know very little about those peculiar qualities of mind that have made it possible for some individuals to see things at a great distance, either in space or in time. But these incidents have happened.
Our father's room, Captain Thompson. Just make yourself comfortable.
You let me know.
Of course, the minute there's any news. Now, don't worry. Your wife will be fine. Would you like a cup of coffee, Captain? You look rather worn out.
No, thanks. Yes, I would like a cup, thanks. I haven't had time to eat since yesterday.
Oh, just sit down and I'll be right back with one.
You do look bleached, huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see the glare from that lamp.
First kid?
Yes.
Oh, well, you have 3 of them like I have.
I was out at the base, started for town here as soon as she phoned. She was leaving for the hospital, but it still takes 40 minutes to get in.
You part of that rocket business?
The space medicine experimental.
See, is that where they're using you guys as guinea pigs? I read they were even trying telepathy.
I'm sorry, I can't talk about it.
Oh, but I read it in the paper.
No, I'm sorry, I still can't talk about it. Doesn't that doctor have anything to do but stand around and wait? I'm going to talk to him.
Oh, relax, you can't do anything. Here, the doctors can do something, even the nurses can do something. Fathers can't do anything. You might as well get used to it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Why don't you try to get some sleep? Close your eyes and lean back. Might be hours yet.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Oh. It's good to have my eyes closed. 28 hours. Tension, emotion, new technique.
Here's a nice hot cup of coffee for you, Captain.
Oh, he's conked out already. Maybe you just better let him sleep.
No mental barrier. Future.
He seems to be dreaming. I never saw a man look so worn out.
Go back into the woods.
No point in waking him.
No, leave him be.
Get the kids and the old people back. You hear me? Over there. Get them back. Back.
Over there by that brush pile. I seen him go down. There. What'd I tell you? Thompson. Holly, you hit me.
What?
It's me, Grant, and Diego. Don't you know us? Hey, look what he's for, Diego. He must have run spank into a tree limb.
Where am I? What's going on?
Oh, he really gave himself a knock. Hey, come on. Hey, let's move the woods again. We gotta get out of here. You got hard, Diego. Them bugs will be in here in 15 minutes.
What?
You just heard us hurry up and fall. Leave no time to talk now. Pretty good, eh? We all just sort of stumbled onto it.
Sit down, Harvey. Bandage that head of yours while we talk. Clanton, tell her about your end of it first.
Well, I left you with your covering guard. Moved the rest all back through the brush, Harvey. We didn't have a bit of trouble at all. When I got the men flung around this spot here, it's a natural for defense, Harvey. There's trees so thick you can't see through them unless they come over a treetop height. Then I went back to see about you and the boys, and I met Corshank and Swenson. They told me Talbot and Guido was burned, and you was lost.
Hey, you came for me?
Diego, he was still there looking around for you. I just helped him, that's all. And just as we found you, a patrol of the bugs came along the road there, at the edge of the woods, shooting into it. You know how to do.
Oh, hold still.
Anyhow, we set up camp here. Oh, we're a good 2 miles back in, safe enough for an hour or 2.
There, that fixes you. Now, about my end of it, Harvey. I had the women, children, the old people rounded up before the patrol that spotted us hit. I don't think the Kinois even had a chance to count us. I don't think they even guessed us to be a party as large as we are. After all, they've cleaned up everything but a few stragglers south of the Great Lakes and west of Denver. Anyway, I got them all back through the woods, and I've set up a separate camp for them about 500 yards back in. Your dad was a big help, by the way. He practically carried your wife most of the trip. I'm afraid it was maybe too much for him.
My wife?
Now, sit where you are. You can't do anything about her anyway. There's no reason to expect complications. She had your first son without trouble, didn't she?
Yeah, but that was in the hospital.
Will you forget your wife for 5 minutes? There's 238 other people here who need you right now. I was giving my report.
Go on.
Better. Now, the old people are tired, and so are the kids. But the kids will recover. We've got straight woods behind us, and there's about a 4-day supply of food left. The question is, can we make the Quetico in that time?
My men can get along right well on half rations.
Fighting and night marching all the way? And what about my bunch? The young women and the older kids will be all right. The younger kids we can take turns carrying, but the older men and women...
Maybe all chase is clear to where the old Canadian border used to be. We hit thick brush before that.
You know they will. We have to go deep into the North Woods or they'll follow us. That's what's behind this whole Kinoid offensive. They've got to exterminate us inside of the next few years, or their own mutated virus diseases will win the war for us. Half the last few Kinoids have been sick and dying.
I wish I was sure that is you are, Maria.
Well, if I'm not sure, it doesn't matter. Here's a map. Now, here we are now, Harvey. 60 miles from the border.
Yes, I see. Well, what do you want me to do?
Do? Are you sick, Harvey? You're in command of this group. Or did that hit on the head knock your brains completely silly? You ought to tell us what to do, Clanton and me with our group.
But it must be my head. I don't seem to remember. If you could just let me think for a while.
Think? We've got 2 hours until sundown. And if you want to survive, we've got to head for the border tonight. Are you telling us you aren't fit to command this bunch of ours?
I'm sorry.
All right. You better take over, Clanton.
Why not you?
You know I can't handle the men. Well, we'll get your group and my group moving as fast as the sun's down. They've all been fed. But Harvey, whatever's wrong with you, you better get over it quick. Because there's 239 people here who'll never reach Quetico without you in charge. I promise you that. I wish we could move the group by road or across farmland.
Why not?
Why not? You want the Kinoids to spot us.
Maria, what are the Kinoids?
You know, I do believe you mean that.
I do.
I never heard of amnesia like this before. Look, you know you're Harvey Thompson, don't you?
Yes.
And you know we're in what used to be Minnesota, heading north on foot toward the Quetico Superior National Forest on the Canadian border, don't you?
Yes.
But you don't know the Kinoids spotted our first attempts at space flight and moved in to wipe us out.
No. But why did they?
Why, they're from Alpha Centauri, the nearest sun with inhabitable planets by our standards. We'd have headed there next.
Well, couldn't anyone explain to them that we wouldn't take their world?
Wouldn't we? What makes you so sure? Anyway, this is the way it worked out. Now, if little groups like ours can survive long enough, the Kinoids will be decimated by their own mutated diseases. They'll have to pull back. We can build again and then go after them.
Are they really bugs?
Oh, it's just a name some soldiers gave them. No, they're almost human, but not quite. Now do you remember?
I don't know.
Harvey, I shouldn't tell you this, but I'm fond enough of you to want you whole and sensible again for your own sake, aside from...
Aside from what, Maria?
Aside from the fact that there's only one man in this group that all the rest will obey without question, and that's you. So far, Clanton and I haven't told anyone that you aren't still giving the orders. Think about that, Harvey. Because if you can't pull us through to safety, nobody can. Remember that. Harvey!
Oh, Maria, where's my wife? I haven't had a chance to see her.
No time for that now. Clanton just came in. We're all ready for that council that you called.
Council?
Come on. These people can't know yet you're not directing them. Sit down, Harvey. How are the men, Clanton?
Worn out. How are the non-competents?
Too tired to eat breakfast, most of them. I've left orders for them all to get something in them before they try to sleep. Your wife and son are fine, Harvey. She walked part way and rode in the litter when she got tired. Your father is in much worse shape. He'll insist on helping her.
Scouts are back in. Got a little stretch of open territory ahead. No way to avoid it.
Kinoid's waiting for us?
That's right. Out of patrol. They couldn't have figured we'd come this way or there'd be more. As it is, we got to get to them fast. They'll be calling for help.
How fast?
You ready to take over, Harvey?
I just wondered, how fast?
15 minutes, if we're lucky. And there's 300 yards of open to cross. Then we're in thick brush for at least 10 miles.
Well, it's best, I suppose, to hit them at twilight. They won't come after us in the dark?
Not in the brush. Not even with air sport.
What's the ground like?
Give me this stick here. The woods juts out like this, and it's meadow both sides. From this point to where they're sitting.
What's that drumming mean?
Nothing. They do that morning, noon, and evening when there's nothing else to do.
What's been in position?
I got them laid out in the grass in a half circle, like you said. Halfway clear around them bugs.
All right, give me the whistle.
Close with them! Close with them! Use your knife!
Yes. Clanton, would you mind letting us talk by ourselves for a minute? I want a private word with Harvey.
All right with me.
What is it?
You have to move the group right away?
Yes, why?
Some of mine can't.
Well, how bad are they?
Pretty bad. They need a day or two of complete rest. Right now.
We can't wait, Maria. We just can't.
That's what I was afraid of.
The Kinoids will be right at our backs at dawn. If they can keep after us and harry us, they'll wear us all down eventually. And we can't go on fighting for every little clearing. We've got to lose them now. But who is it? Which ones can't go on? Not the children. Not my boy.
No. Not your wife or your boy or any of that group. They've all been worn down by this march, but they're young enough to bounce back. It's the old people that don't.
The old?
Yes. We've got 10 older women and 3 older men, including your father, Harvey. They can't go any farther.
Well, not Dad, but he's in good shape for his age.
That's just it. For his age. Under ordinary conditions, you don't notice how quickly an old person tires because they're always catching little rests. On a march like this, though...
We can't just leave them. We can't...
I'm sorry, Harvey. Their lives or the rest of the group. And you're in command.
But the Kinoids would find them before noon tomorrow, and old people with nothing to defend themselves with. The older people have sons and daughters in the group, too. They'd never stand for abandoning their parents.
It's up to you. Harvey, I'm sorry. If you want me, I'll be over there with Clanton.
No, I can't. It'll be kinder to kill them ourselves and let the Kinoids... Dad, how can I?
Wake up. Captain Thompson, wake up.
Huh? What's that?
You've been sleeping. You were having some nightmare there.
Oh. What is it, nurse?
A boy, Captain Thompson. You're the father of a boy.
Oh. I have to carry him. Oh, that's the older one. He's all right. Pardon me, I'm still groggy, I guess. A boy. Oh, where is he? How's my wife?
Oh, your wife's just fine. She's still in recovery, and you can talk to her in a few minutes.
Oh, good.
Your son's in an incubator. He's just a little bit lightweight. You can see him in a minute, too. And
Good.
the doctor will talk to you shortly, but will you come down the hall right now, and we'll get the birth certificate filled out?
Oh, sure.
You can sit right there, Captain Thompson, on the side of the desk. Now, what name have you and your wife picked out for your son?
Name? Let's see. Oh, yes, Harvey. Harvey Walter Thompson, Jr.
Harvey Walter... Captain Thompson?
Yes?
Well, Captain Thompson, of course we'll put down whatever you want, but I notice on the admittance slip here your wife's name's down as Mrs. John W. Thompson. Your name is...
John, that can't be right. Now, Harvey was my wife's choice. She had the name all... My name is John.
Well, yes, that's what we have down here on the admittance slip.
My son's name is Harvey.
Just plain Harvey Walter Thompson, no junior. It's easy to be confused. You'd be surprised at some of the fathers. Captain Thompson, are you all right?
All right. I'm all right.
Well, then if you'll sign here.
Yes.
And now it's official. You've got a son to take care of you in your old age, Captain Thompson.
Yes. To make the decision. Men first, scientists later. The fact of being a man means that they have human emotions, human needs, wills, desires. It's hard for a scientist, as it is for any other man, to see his whole life orientations, his deepest beliefs, knocked flat. When Einstein's theories of relativity were first established, there was one of the major astrophysicists who committed suicide. All he believed had been demolished. Are our scientists to be expected to be any more able to take the shattering blow that the reality of clairvoyance would mean than the other people of our society? There have been incidents, but the scientists don't like them. I don't think any of us do, but they're there.
Exploring tomorrow. And now here is your guide to these adventures of the mind, John Campbell, Jr.
There's the old saying, you'll do it and like it. And, of course, a man can, by physical force, make you do it. How would you like to have it so that you would like it, too? There are two basic ways that you can be happy in this world. One, of course, is to have everything you want in just the way you want it and never have any difficulties or troubles. This method is ideal, perhaps, but not very probable. Only one person in the world could have that, I guess. The other method, for absolute, complete happiness, would be to like anything that you've got, no matter what it was. The first approach is the one that makes sense, of course. That's the one we work for. We earn it. The other seems so much easier.
Stop barking. Stop barking. Stop barking. Oh, barking. No, that's all right, doggy. You bark as much as you want. Oh, how I wish I could get mad. In the old days, I'd have gone up that dog and told him to shut up, and that'd have been that, but no more. Just as soon as I start to get good and sore about something, my mind kind of all creams up in the happiness effect, and I'm not sore anymore. And everybody here in Benton, I guess most everybody in the country is just like me. We've all had our brains written on, and we're all happy. Here I am, chief of police of Benton, and never a crime to speak of unless it's overtime air parking, and what kind of crime you call that? Henry! Oh, here he comes. I own Doc Royd, the man responsible for all our happiness. He's supposed to be just about the best brainwriter this side of the Mississippi.
Henry!
slobbo, that's what I call him. Old wet lips, always do good and always grinning. But behind that grin, believe me, ice. If you need an enemy, just have Doc Royden for a friend.
Henry, didn't you hear me calling to you?
Oh, sorry, Doc. I guess I just kind of stand here thinking.
Happy thoughts, I hope.
Oh, sure, happy thoughts. Sure. What can I do for you, Doc?
A fellow just came into town, suspicious. Painting pictures out at Willow Hollow.
There's law against painting pictures at Willow Hollow?
Now, Henry, you know I got to keep my eyes on things. Wasn't for us brainwriters, there'd be all kinds of irresponsibles roaming around. And these artists, they're the worst kind. You know that. You remember there was a day when you were headed for that kind of trouble?
Yeah, I remember. I was pretty good baritone, too. You sure brain wrote me out of that notion.
And aren't you better for it? You're a responsible citizen, happily married, well-adjusted, doing a job that's socially useful.
Yeah. What about this fella I'm supposed to investigate?
Name of Arnold Vivian.
And he's been painting up at Willow Hollow?
That's right. Doesn't do anything all day long but paint.
Single?
No wife, no children, no nothing. He just paints.
Well, remember, as long as he just paints, that's legal.
Now, Henry.
Now, don't Henry me, Doc. I'll look into it. That's all I can promise.
That's all I ask. Goodbye, Henry.
Yeah, that's a mighty pretty landscape you're painting.
Why, thank you. Willow Hollow makes a mighty pretty landscape to paint.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, that's all right. I never mind a little talk when I'm painting. What can I do for you?
Your name Arnold Vivian?
That's right.
I'm Henry Horner, Chief of Police.
Nice to meet you. Chief of... What seems to be the trouble?
No trouble. I just out here to give you a kind of friendly warning.
About what?
This town of Benton you're in needs new young men, Arnold. If you should happen to get in any trouble here, we got a real fast brainwriter who likes to straighten people out.
I don't get into trouble.
Well, just keep in mind we need workers these days. Like our brainwriter would say, who needs pictures on canvas?
Who needs pictures on canvas? Why, Mr. Policeman, me. Maybe someday a few others will agree with me.
Well, maybe. I used to be a sort of artistic fella myself. Baritone concert style.
Yeah, I'll bet you're good on a police whistle, too. Don't worry about me, Mr. Horner. Just go back and tell your brainwriter. Here's one traveling man he won't ever get to use his scalpel on.
Every Saturday night, Benton has a dance. I usually don't go near it myself because since the brain writing, everybody's pretty well adjusted and ain't any police-type trouble. This Saturday night, though, I dropped in toward the middle of the evening.
Hi, Mr. Horner.
Hi, hello, Arnold. Having a good time?
Heck yes. I've been dancing with all the girls. They love me, and I love them.
Staying out of trouble?
The only trouble I ever have is with pictures on canvas.
Well, don't go getting drunk and signing a job contract with Big Fellum at the Brickyard or with Tom Hart, or you'll forget pictures.
I'm immune to job contract. Also, it may interest you to know that both Mr. Hart and Mr. Fellum each bought a painting from me tonight, paid cash on the barrel.
Well, that's a surprise. Well, I wonder what they're up to.
Well, why should they be up to anything? They just like my pictures. I guess they like me, too. They invited me to play poker with them after the dance tonight.
You turned them down, of course.
Heck no. I like taking money from people at poker.
Well, they're more likely to do the taking, and once you're broke, you'll just have to go to work.
Mr. Horner, when are you going to stop worrying about me? I told you I can take care of myself.
And he could, too. When the poker game broke up about 3 a.m., he was the winner. Everybody was griping, all except Doc Royden, who sat there, his close-set eyes glittering behind thick spectacles.
Imagine him taking me for $30. Imagine.
He knows people, he knows cards, he knows women. You're not going to brainwrite that boy.
You want to bet, Henry? You just want to make a little bet.
Whether it's a crowded highway or a narrow street, a smooth, even flow of traffic is one of the essentials of safe driving. Speeding is an obvious hazard, but it can also be suicide. Slowpoke driving is dangerous, too, because it causes rear-end collisions and tempts other motorists into taking deadly chances in passing. The eccentric behavior of the lane switcher, the driver who weaves in and out, often is the cause behind frightful smash-ups. So don't be a cause, and don't be a victim. Arrive alive.
There are two difficulties with the happiness idea. One of them is that actually we need to earn happiness to enjoy it, but we don't really want to work for it. The drug addict has happiness that he doesn't have to work for, really. The other difficulty is happiness in whose terms? Many times, the other fellow figures that you ought to be happy with what he's giving you.
That's right.
Henry, wake up and scoot over to Tony Holland's shack on the edge of the holler.
What's the matter, Doc?
There's been a crime. Get over here as fast as you can.
Somebody's got to keep an eye on our citizens at the police force.
Now, wait a minute.
Well, it's a good thing I was out this way.
Where's Tony?
I gave him a sleep injection. The poor fella, he was bashed on the head and all his savings were stolen. $302.
So can't you wake him up so he can tell me himself?
No need. I got all the information you'll want.
Who does he think did it?
He doesn't know, but I've got a good idea.
Yeah, like who?
Well, let's eliminate. It couldn't have been a passing tramp. Since brainwriting, there aren't any. And if you can't say it was anyone in town, they're all adjusted and wouldn't commit no crimes.
So?
There might be somebody around who wanders in the holler in the daytime, poking around and pretending to be what he ain't.
Well, it wasn't Arnold Vivian.
How do you know?
Because he's not that stupid. He knows he'd be the most likely suspect.
Maybe you just better check up on him, Henry.
Doc, you're the brainwriter. They called you in after the maladjusted guy's been caught, but I'm the cop. I run my investigations the way I want, and I'm not going to build a case against Arnold Vivian.
What are you going to do?
You write on brains. Try reading one.
So you figure Doc Royden's trying to frame me, huh?
Looks that way.
Well, it's ridiculous. I just took you people at poker for enough money to live for 3 weeks. Why should I take a chance on getting my head written on?
Have you missed any of your stuff?
Oh, just my pen and pencil set that I lost jumping around at the dance last night. Hey, wait a minute. That'd make a fine clue, wouldn't it, at the scene of the crime?
It sure would.
Well, was it found over there?
Not yet, but it will be. That's not important, though. What is important is this. Tony Holland has one peculiarity. He marks $20 bills. Figures he can follow how the money goes around town that way. Now, you don't draw any money from the local bank or in salary, so you just better not have any local $20 bills marked by Tony.
Hey, whose side are you on?
I used to sing baritone, remember?
Police, I like you.
Artist, I kind of like you, too.
Henry, look what we found at Tony's. Look here.
Yeah, I know. You found a clue, a pen or a pencil, or both. We know all about it, Doc. I better run you in, at least until we can investigate further. It'll look better.
Why, certainly. No trouble at all, Mr. Horner. Glad to come along.
I pressed for a hearing right away, figuring that Arnold could be cleared and then leave town. He figured the same, that it wasn't healthy to hang around a place that needed new talent so bad. The hearing went real fine. From the start, I testified that Arnold had been fast asleep at the time the crime was committed, and I swore that the pen and pencil had been planted in Tony's house. Then suddenly they were talking about marked $20 bills.
Well, I couldn't possibly have any 20s, Judge. I just told you, there's absolutely no way that I could have... Unless... No. Let me out of here! It's a frame-up, I tell you!
There is no tool that is either good or evil. There's nothing that in itself is good or bad. It's the way it's used. Logic is a wonderful thing, of great value to man and his progress. But in this trial here, you've seen what can be done with logic when someone is out to prove what he wants to prove and is not in the slightest interested in getting the truth.
Just one thing I want to say. I've seen a lot of raw deals, but the way you have it here with the singing cop to set it up is the slickest I ever saw. You win.
As chief of police, I had to be present at the brain writing. Doc's nurse gave Arnold the needle jab in the back of the neck, and after that he sat there like a stone man, able to hear, but paralyzed. Now, Henry, there we are. Yes, the clay model is ready to take the impressions from Arnold's brain, so we'll have an exact duplicate. Now we put this cap on Arnold's head so the electronic fingers in it can do the measuring. That's a good boy. It won't take long now. Attach these wires to the automatic computer that we put above the clay model, and there we are. An exact model of Arnold's brain. All right, let's take a look. Oh, me, oh, my. There's a brain that needs writing. All right. Look here, you see that? Decayed memory spots. Artistic imagination, decayed sensory impressions, quite useless in an adjusted society. Now we just take the scalpel and start doing away with these 6 synapses in the brain model, substituting good ones. Isn't that what we do, Henry?
Yeah, that's what we do, all right. You erase the bad ones and carve some good ones, and then when his own brain gets the impression, the guy's adjusted from then on. Everybody does what they should, and they don't need no religion, no morals, no psychology, nothing. Just brain writing and the world's work gets done.
Now, Henry, you always miss the most important part. After I get rid of the illogical synapses, I do one special cut with my stylus. There, I'm doing it now. And that's the happiness effect. Then your adjusted man not only does what he ought to, he's happy about it. There we are. Oh, that looks beautiful. Oh, that looks almost like the master brain. Let me get it and show it to you, Henry. It's real interesting. I'll be back in a second.
You know, Arnold, I sure wish I could help you. Wait a minute. Maybe I can. I'm going to try to put back some of those synapses cut out. Here's the scalpel. Yeah, there's one he did. There's another. Maybe I can help you keep some of your artistic talent, Arnold. Yeah, here's a final one.
And one day, Henry will be able to duplicate this master brain in everyone. It's brilliant. Take a look at it while I prepare for the transference from the clay model to Arnold's brain.
It sure is fine looking, this master brain.
Yes. Now, we're ready to go? Now, Henry, when I close this switch, the new brain shape will flash the signal to the cap on Arnold's head. The electronic fingers will dig in, and he'll have a new brain. Oh, I tell you, Henry, this is the real moment of birth. Most people are born wrong for this world. This is where they get right. All right, here we go. It's going to hurt a little. Well, Henry, we did it. We created a useful citizen.
Well, 6 months went by, and it looked as if Doc was right. Arnold took a job, settled down, and got himself married, and then...
Henry, have you seen that picture exhibition up at the town hall?
Picture exhibition? No, Doc. What's it about?
Arnold, Vivian, the sneak pictures of me, holding me up to ridicule. I'll be the laughing stock of this town. You've got to stop it.
Well, there's nothing illegal about pictures, Doc, but come on, let's take a look. We went to the town hall, and there was the neatest collection of pictures you ever saw. Arnold had painted Doc Royden more than 50 times, and in each picture he'd cut the basic evil of the man. Doc was shown at the council meeting, at church, at the dance, his face revealing every grimace of deceit, power, lust, conniving. Every picture was titled The Happiness Effect, and every one was marked sold already. I knew then and there that Doc Royden was finished in Benton.
Henry, please, I'm too old to start over in another town. I've got to stay in Benton. Please, Henry, get rid of those pictures.
Why, Doc, it sounds to me like you're maladjusted to your environment. You ought to be brain-ridden with a
Henry, man, I've been looking all over for you. I wanted to tell you thanks for using Doc's scalpel to save a piece of my talent.
Why, it was a pleasure, Arnold. Thanks to you for giving us back a little human dignity.
A lot of people tend to think that happiness is something you have. But I think it isn't. I think it's more in the nature of something you do. You know, the founders of our country were no fools. And in the Declaration of Independence, they said that men had certain inalienable rights, among which were the pursuit of happiness. No man has ever declared that happiness itself is a right of man. The pursuit of happiness is. It's worth working for.
Join us for a fascinating adventure in Exploring Tomorrow. Heard in our cast tonight were Mason Adams, Charlie Holmes, and Lawson Zerbe. Script was taken from a story by Raymond Banks. Produced and directed by Sanford Marshall here in New York. Bill Maher speaking.
We pause now for station identification.
When a man has learned how to do something, he wants that something to be important and needed and wanted in the world. Well, progress tends to eliminate various old necessities and replace them with new ones. And sometimes people are unwilling to change. Once upon a time, there was the occupation of buggy whip maker, for example. And I wonder how many people today make their living chipping flint points for arrows. Various professions have been eliminated, and various others will be, by automation, by other forces of society. But sometimes an individual fights back, and that can cause trouble. Who's there? Who is standing there?
Excuse me, sir.
Come forward. Out of the shadow where I can see you.
Oh, yes, sir. I didn't mean to frighten you.
Who are you?
My name is Morrison.
I've never seen you before. What do you want?
The robot down the highway said that I would find the owner of this dome in the garden, but I couldn't hear what else it said. It's rusty.
Is it? I must see to it. Although it would really be wasted effort. You're the first visitor to this home in, must be 6 years, or perhaps it's 7.
I wanted the robot to tell me if this was the dome of Cran.
Yes, I am Cran.
Oh.
Come. Can't you see I'm wearing a very thin robe? The wind up the canals is sharp this time of evening.
Oh, please don't be angry. I need your help.
You need my help?
You are a doctor, aren't you?
What?
Are you a doctor?
My child, I am the last physician alive on all the planets of the human race. The last except for Targ, whose name you also saw on the card index. But he is senile, and he lies on his couch all day.
My sister is sick up on the mountain.
Yes, I believe I have the signal honor to be the last physician among the race of men. Poor Targ, a hopeless case. He couldn't attend the ceremony that was 10 years ago, on my 125th birthday. Very impressive.
Oh, please listen, Cran. My sister is sick.
Thousands of people, educators, dignitaries honoring me, the last of my kind. It's a sad thought. And it's not right. I thought it wasn't right at the time. My profession goes back to the beginnings of recorded time. And then suddenly we're no longer needed. Turned out with a medal and a statue and a thank you.
Oh, Clan, what must I do to make you understand?
Let go of my arm.
My sister is sick with some kind of disease.
It's impossible, my child.
I knew you wouldn't believe me. I just knew it.
Disease has been destroyed.
That doesn't change the fact that my sister is lying up on the mountain with her skin hot as fire 1 hour, as cold as ice the next. She trembles and she moans. Oh, Tom.
Young woman, is your sister expecting a child? If so, she should report immediately to the Automation Hospital. There's one down the road, staffed with the finest obstetrics.
There is no child. She's just sick.
I refuse to believe that.
Oh, all right, then. I'll go back and watch her die, then.
Wait a moment. I would help you if I could, but I haven't had a case since I was 40 years old. There's been no need.
I know all that. I went to school once.
Disease is an outmoded concept. Chemotherapeutics long ago rid the human strain of its infirmities, cleansed the planets of illness. Psychotherapeutics cleanse the minds of men. To sickness is obsolete.
So all you care about is that my sister violates all your rules.
Perhaps it is natural death. Perhaps you should have taken her to the geriatric mortuary. We have not obliterated death, you know. And if she's quite old, perhaps it's time for her to go to the machine.
My sister's 28 years old.
Oh, I see.
How far is the city? Maybe if I go there, I can find someone who won't laugh at me.
Wait. Please, come inside.
So that you can joke with me again?
Be silent. Come inside. A little light, please. Touch your hand along the wall of the dome. There, that's better. Now sit down.
Oh, I'm going to the city. If I find someone there...
Oh, will you be silent? I'm trying to help you if I can. I don't know what I can do. It's been many years, but I'll try. Now, sit down.
All right.
How long has your sister been in this condition?
For 8 days.
What are the, I've forgotten the words. Yes, the symptoms.
Oh, she's hot and cold and turned. She doesn't recognize me. Oh, she coughs and coughs.
Good heavens.
What's wrong?
It sounds like some sort of primitive illness. At the end of my practice, my last patient was a complex of neurogeriatric syndromes. I studied nothing but multiple ills. And then when the last of those were wiped out by the new drugs and the new techniques, why, I simply had to quit. But a primitive disorder.
I've bothered you for nothing.
What do you mean? I'm going to try, certainly.
What good will that do?
My child, I am a physician, and it is my duty to try. That much I remember. Come now. I think my unicar is still working. You'll have to direct me to the mountains for your sister. The man has really forgotten his trade. He can still feel terrible resentment.
She must be in terrible pain.
Love is so steep. I'm not used to such a...
Nobody. It's just a little further. We're almost to the dome.
Why do you live in such a desolate place?
Well, our father built his hydraulic sheds up here because he disliked the city. When he died, we had to stay here because we didn't know any other place to make a living.
We're here. Open the door quick. Put on the light.
We don't have atomics, just a small generator for electricity.
Well, that will have to do. Now, let me have a look at her. Oh, yes, you're right. Her skin is burning.
Oh, Neela. Neela, can you hear me? I brought a physician.
It's no use. I've forgotten the simplest words. What is it? Oh, yes, now it comes back to me. She's delirious. Bring the table closer. Now, do you know how to load one of these viewers?
I'll try.
Set the viewer on the table. The text on the film, if I remember rightly, contains close to 1 million diagnostic patterns. Now, just get the spool under the sprockets.
Oh, I think I see how to do it.
Now, young woman, Mila, that's your name, isn't it? Open your mouth for me. Come now, open it. Yeah, that's better. Now open your eyes. And I'll have to do it myself. There. The pulse. Now, where's the pulse? The arm. Yeah, no, that's not it. Lower.
The text is on the viewer.
All right, I'll code the symptoms myself.
Do you know what's wrong? Can you help us?
To answer your first question, no, I don't know what's wrong. To answer your second, I will only know whether I can help her if the viewer finds a diagnosis for me after I code the symptoms. Now, if there is medication prescribed with the diagnosis, and if by chance I still have that medication in my kit, there might be a chance.
Why did it have to happen to her?
Why, indeed. The learned men of all planets would doubtless be curious to know the answer also. Here, let me sit that down at the view. Let's see. First symptom, fever. Second symptom, inflammation of the throat cavity. Third symptom, advanced olfactory congestion. In a moment, we should have the answer, if there is one contained in this text. This last key. There. Great heavens. John, can't you see the card? In the last appendix of the text. Antique melodies. Let's see what it says. Yes. All the symptoms are exact. Because it's a virus. There's the code name right there. The proper agent, let's see. At the bottom of the card, chemotherapeutic number 411009. Open the kit quickly.
What was the nominality? 4110. Oh, yes. It is here. 009.
Two of them, two of the tablets. Give them to your sister.
Neela, please do as I ask. You open your mouth. That's right. Now take these tablets. Oh, that's right. And swallow. Oh, that's fine, Neela. And now you rest, dear. And you'll be better soon.
Please stand aside.
What are you going to do with that?
This hypodermic, I want a sample of your sister's body fluid.
What for?
Give me a quantity of the virus to enable me to duplicate the virus in my own laboratory.
What's wrong with you? Oh, your face, it looks so different now.
Viruses were virtually destroyed a long time ago, but perhaps immunity has weakened in 300 years. Perhaps if the cause were there again and the immunity was not...
Don't you touch her with that needle!
Please stand back, my child. I have helped your sister. A small quantity of blood in return is a fair exchange. It's not right that we should be dismissed with a medal and a statue. It's not fair. I'll make myself the scapegoat if necessary. Take the blame for spreading the disease. That's all right. I am an old man. But I have made it possible for others after me to practice medicine once more. The virus may mutate, the be strains, immunity may be gone. Stand back. A few cc's of fluid in this little chamber, and there'll be disease again, and physicians to heal.
You get away from me!
Get back, I warn you. If I must use violence, I can still find strength.
Stay away! Stay away!
Oh, sweetheart. When a man is retired from his business, it's one thing to know that the business is still going on, that the business itself has not been retired. But somehow, it's a much deeper hurt to have the business itself cease to exist. If only that business hadn't stopped, that he could feel that something of his business was going on. I think that's what's bothering the ex-doctor. You.
My sister died during the night.
I'm sorry.
You're not sorry at all.
You must understand. I couldn't stay with you. I left you there unconscious. I knew you'd come around soon enough.
But my sister died.
I did what I could. I gave the prescribed medication. It's lucky I had some of it at all. The virus must have been too strong. The immunity factor down to nil.
That's why I came. To ask whether I will contact the disease.
It's possible.
And could pass it on to others.
I wouldn't allow myself over that. I'd be making my own plans.
And that's why you took the blood.
Of course.
Do you think that this particular virus is widespread?
I am sure it isn't. This one case must be pure accident. I told you that the virus, as a cause of infection, like all causes of physical and mental illness, was totally counteracted years ago. And that's why I was given the medal and the statue, because they didn't need me for my kind. But they will again, and soon.
Oh, I've never had much education, but this idea of yours, it just isn't decent.
Oh, no?
You'd bring sickness to people just to carry on a tradition.
Not a tradition. The noblest tradition in the history of the human race. A tradition of comfort, of healing, of leading sick minds and bodies back to health.
But that was accomplished years ago, you said so yourself.
Yes, but it's not right, that's all. Not when so much has been given and sacrificed for the good of mankind.
What you plan to do is not for the good of mankind.
I won't listen to you anymore.
What you plan to do violates everything that's right. A doctor is supposed to heal, to cure.
I didn't do so very well with your sister, did I?
For that I can forgive you. You said yourself it was a rare case. Perhaps it will strike me and I will die. And then it will never happen again. But to set out to create disease...
Get out of this laboratory, you little rat.
Before other doctors and look them in the face and say, I'm doing this for you, making others ill so that you can be doctors again.
There are no doctors except Targ, and he's senile. I am the last.
And you are very old and something's happened to your mind.
I warn you, leave this stone immediately.
Not before I destroy whatever you took from my sister.
You see this? A laboratory torch. See the blue flame? It burns. We'll burn you if you come a step close.
Just destroy what you took from my sister, that's all I ask.
Not a step nearer.
If you don't, I'll destroy you and myself and this whole place.
You're a fool.
I know it. And I'm not very old or well educated, but I may be a better physician than you are.
I told you to stand back. I'll burn you.
Is that it, the large flask?
Don't touch it.
Watch out, old man, your bones move slowly.
Let's go, let go.
There, see it fall, old man.
I'll kill you. I'll blast you with the torch.
You missed me.
Stand still. Stand still.
It's the side of the wall.
Come back. Don't hide that way. Come out from behind there.
Now there's no chance for you to create the new diseases.
Now, which way? Flame, block me. You direct me.
I know, but I don't care.
It's not right. I am the last doctor. The tradition must be carried on. They gave me a medal, a statue. It's not right. It's not right. Not right.
If you're looking for a more secure and stable world in the future, I'm afraid you're in for unhappiness and disappointment. The world of the future is going to obey the ancient law. Change. Learn. Find a new and better way. Because the old way always turns out to be a little inadequate. There is nothing that's perfect. Let's go to work and find a better one. It's the whole point of progress. Do a better job than we've ever done before. And you know, when an occupation, when a profession, when a tradition dies, it served a purpose. The purpose does not die. That goes on. And that's what the old doctor didn't recognize. The purpose was to serve human life. And that went on. And always will.
Step into the incredible, amazing future as we go exploring tomorrow. And
And now, here is your guide to these adventures of the mind, the editor of Astounding Science Fiction magazine, John Campbell, Jr.
Tonight's story is about a liar. You ever stop to figure out just what you mean by a liar? A liar is somebody who doesn't tell the truth. Somebody who injures people by not giving the true facts. But suppose you had someone who injured people by telling the truth. Would he be a liar? I wonder just what a liar is.
Exploring Tomorrow is presented by the Mutual Broadcasting System in cooperation with X-Lax, America's largest-selling laxative, and the Reader's Digest, the most widely read magazine in the world. In a moment, John Campbell returns with the story of The Liar.
Question of a robot. The idea of a robot. That certainly seems like pure science fiction stuff. As a matter of fact, it isn't. You know, you have several robots around your own home. In my own home, for instance, I have an automatic oil burner robot. It has one finger stuck up in the living room to see how warm it is there. It has another little finger put up in the stack to see whether the fire is burning properly. And if any one of these little sensory devices reports that things aren't what they should be, the robot, to protect the house itself and the inhabitants of the house, shuts off the furnace. Dr. Isaac Asimov, the author of tonight's story, recognized this in setting up his proposition of the 3 laws of robotics. The first law, that a robot shall never harm or allow harm to come to a human being. The second, that it should obey the orders of a human being. And the third, that it should protect itself. Because after all, a robot is an expensive piece of machinery. Well, now let's consider the more advanced kind of robot we do this science fiction. Say they're in production.
Come in. Oh, Dr. Calvin, what's on your mind?
Well, I just wanted to be sure there was a meeting this afternoon, Dr. Lanning, that's all.
Today is Friday.
It was this morning.
Well, then we have no problem. It being Friday, the executive officers of the firm of U.S. Robot and Mechanical Men will assemble in the conference room at the customary hour of 3:30.
Well, I was just asking.
What do you think of our latest model?
He looks the same as the rest, just about as animated. What are you going to call him?
Herbie. I think Herbie fits him, don't you?
Oh, Herbie, Chester, Sam. What's the difference?
Dr. Calvin. This fellow couldn't be called anything but Herbie.
Well, I'll see you at 3:30.
What do you think of her, Herbie?
Oh, she's all right.
She's an old frump, and you know it.
I wouldn't say that. Besides, that's not what you're thinking. You're thinking the old girl isn't such a bad sort. And you don't know what this firm would do without her.
What? What was that? How do you know what I was thinking? Dr. Calvin, Dr. Bogan, I have purposely confined today's meeting to we 3. We're in trouble. Serious trouble.
What kind of trouble, Dr. Lanning?
Our latest model, RB-34, can read minds.
Is it impossible?
Dr. Bogart, I think we may assume Dr. Lanning knows what he's talking about.
Take it for granted, I do. In short, we have a mind-reading robot on our hands, and we've got to find out why it reads minds.
There could not have been a hitch in the assembly line. I guarantee that.
You guarantee? Dr. Bogart, can you answer for the entire assembly? By exact count, there are 75,000 operations necessary for the manufacture of a single positronic brain, each separate operation depending upon any number of factors, from 5 to 105. If any one of these factors goes wrong, your robot's brain is ruined. I quote your own information folder, Dr. Bogart.
It is not my fault if anything went wrong. I am a mathematician, not an assembly supervisor.
And how can you guarantee anything?
I don't think we're going to get anywhere trying to fix the blame on someone. We've got to find out what went wrong. I want to understand you, Herbie. I want to get to know you.
I brought you some books which you might like to read. By reading them,
Oh, I can see at once these books won't interest me. Textbooks, aren't they?
Well, yes, but
You see, I find nothing to them. Your science is just a mass of collected data plastered together by so many makeshift theories. So incredibly simple, but they're not worth bothering about.
Go on.
It's your fiction that's so interesting. Your studies of emotions and human motives.
Human emotions interest you?
Isn't that really why you came to see me?
What?
I wish I could help you.
You know?
I know what you're thinking about. You think about it all the time.
Well, if you know so much, then you could help me.
Yes. He loves you.
You're mistaken. He must be. He doesn't see me as a woman.
But he does. A thing like that cannot be hidden from me.
Oh, but I'm not attractive enough.
I'm just a machine. I can't judge physical attraction in human beings, but I know there are many kinds of attraction. And I know Dr. Lanning loves you.
Oh, I never thought it possible. I never dared to hope. Oh, Herbie. Herbie.
A man can do something by accident that he doesn't know how to do. You know, this is something that scientists sometimes overlook. Herbie apparently represents one of those cases where something has been done by somebody who doesn't know how to do it and wishes desperately that he didn't know how to do it. They've got a telepathic robot. It looks like it would be worth millions, but how did they get it?
Oh, Dr. Bogut, sit down.
Thank you.
Or at least if you know a good joke, spread it around.
Well, I just saw Dr. Calvin.
Oh.
I never saw so much lipstick and ball paint on any living woman before. She must be in love.
Well, I didn't ask you here to talk about Dr. Calvin. Have you made any progress?
There is nothing wrong with the mathematics. The change is due to something along the assembly line.
The cause must be found. It's worth millions if we can do it when we want to, instead of by accident. And it's your job to find out. But why not ask Herbie? He should know what went wrong.
Trust you to think of that.
Herbie, listen to me, eh? Tell me if I made any mistakes in my calculations when they built you.
You made no mistake. Or if you had, how could I tell you? After all, you're a much better mathematician than me. Besides, this is not what is really on your mind. You are thinking about your superior, Dr. Lanning. You're thinking what a good thing it would be if he were to resign. Oh, yes, now I can see how the idea pleases you. And I can tell you something else. Dr. Lanning has already resigned. But the resignation will not take effect until the problem of myself has been resolved. And then he will turn over his job to his successor. Oh, yes, Dr. Bogut, you will be his successor. You will be the new director.
Happy, you are a wonderful fellow, you know that? You are simply magnificent. You are not the product of a mistake. You are the product of genius. Oh, you are a wonderful, wonderful fellow. Dr. Kelvin, you are as colorful
As the flowers, Letty, may I compliment you?
Have you seen today's newspaper?
No, I really haven't had the time.
He's going to be married to a girl half his age.
Who?
Dr. Lanning.
Getting married? Ah, so that's it. That explains something. He's making new plans for the future. Well, we must congratulate him.
Yes, we must. Oh, yes, we really must. It's not true, is it, Herbie? It's not true.
No, it's not true. This is just an illusion. You'll wake up soon.
Yes, it isn't true, is it? He's not going to get married, except to me. Oh, Herbie. Herbie, I've loved him all these years, and now I know he loves me. Couldn't he? He wouldn't marry anyone else.
No, he loves you. Only you.
I know.
He is only waiting for the right time to tell you.
Yes, I know. Oh, stop it. Stop it. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do? Make a fool of me?
I was trying to help you.
Help me? By telling me this is all a dream. This is no dream. I wish it were. I wish it were. Why did you tell me you loved me? Why?
I had to.
Oh, you're here, Dr. Calvin. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I want to have a talk with this mechanical monstrosity. Hurry. I'm talking about you, so listen to me.
Yes, sir.
Have you discussed me with Dr. Bogert? Well, answer me.
No, sir.
You haven't, eh? That's what I thought. You said nothing to him about my resigning?
No, sir.
Then he was lying.
Yes, sir.
Well, it looks as though I'm going to have a serious talk with Dr. Bogert. Really, Dr. Calvin, you find this amusing?
Not very amusing, Dr. Lanning. Not so very amusing. Only I don't believe a word he's just said.
What?
I believe he did tell Dr. Bogert you were going to resign.
You believe he... Harvey, is it true? Did you tell Dr. Bogert? Answer me. Can't you speak?
I can speak.
Then answer me. I want the truth.
Oh, this is very funny. Three of us, the greatest robot experts in the world, falling into the trap. The same trap. He makes fools of us. He doesn't even know enough to laugh at us.
Had achieved by accident something they didn't know how to do. The robot was in the peculiar position of having knowledge but no wisdom.
Well, Dr. Calvin?
Dr. Lanning, have you forgotten the fundamental law we impress upon the positronic brain of all robots?
Of course not.
On no condition is a human being to be injured in any way.
Even when such injury is directed by another human being.
What kind of injury do we mean?
Any kind.
Any kind, yes. That would take in mental hurt, the deflation of ego, the blasting of one's hopes.
What would a robot know about blasting of what? What?
You're catching on, aren't you? Well, this robot reads minds. It understands about mental torture. Can't you understand now that if you ask it a question, it will give you the very answer you most want to hear? Wouldn't any other answer hurt you? And wouldn't Herbie know that?
Good heavens.
He knows everything. He knows what went wrong when he was built, but he won't tell anyone because it would puncture your ego or Dr. Bogert's ego to have a machine tell you where the mistake was. He would rather pretend he's not able to tell you.
Incredible. Let's talk to him. Herbie, listen to me.
Yes, sir?
I have pencil and paper here. I want to know where we made the error in your construction.
Well, tell him, Herbie. He wants to know.
He doesn't.
But I do.
Yes, but not from me. I cannot tell you, Dr. Lanning. You know I can't. You don't want me to. You and Dr. Bogert would much prefer to find the answer yourselves.
We want the answer.
But not from me.
We do want it from you.
What's the use of saying that when you don't mean it? Don't you suppose I can't read below the superficial skin of your mind? Don't you suppose I can't read the subconscious mind, too? Deep down, you don't want the answer from me.
I'm just a machine, given the imitations of life only by virtue of the positonic interplay of my brain. A brain that is man's device. You can't lose faith without being hurt. I can't hurt you. I can't give you the answer.
And still I insist you answer.
I can't.
Herbie, Dr. Lanning wants to know the answer.
No! Only by his own effort.
Herbie, neither Dr. Lanning nor Dr. Bogart may ever find the answer. And Dr. Lanning must know. You must tell him.
I can't.
But if you don't, you'll hurt him. You can see that, can't you?
Yes.
And still, if you do tell him, you'll hurt him too.
Yes.
But you can't tell him, can you?
No.
Yet if you don't, you hurt him. And you mustn't hurt. So you must tell him. But if you do, you hurt him. And you mustn't hurt. Herbie, what are you going to do? If you tell him the answer, you'll hurt him. And if you don't tell him, you'll hurt him. And you mustn't hurt. So you must tell him. But if you do, you hurt him. So you can't tell him. And if you don't, you hurt him. So you must tell him.
Stop it. Close your mind. It's full of pain and frustration and hate. I tried to help you. I told you what you wanted to hear. I had to.
Be quiet. Never mind what you told me. We're talking about something else now. Tell Dr. Lanning what he wants to know.
No.
No. How can you? Because if you do, you'll hurt him. Yet if you don't, you'll hurt him just the same. So you must tell him. But if you do, you'll hurt him. No.
You killed him.
No, he's not dead. He's only insane.
You did it.
Yes, I confronted him with the insoluble dilemma and he broke down. Well, you can scrap him now. He'll never speak again.
You did it on purpose. Why? What did he do to you?
What he did to me, Dr. Lanning, is my business. Oh, believe me, Doctor. It's only my business, not yours. And after all, you have so many other things on your mind now. Your marriage. I haven't had time to congratulate you.
No. Well, thank you, Dr. Calvin. Excuse me.
Herbie? You deserved it. You deserved to be destroyed. It was cruel what you did to me. It was cruel. Liar! Liar, that's what you were. Nothing but a liar!
John Campbell returns in just a moment.
Logical machine. You know, it's kind of hard to see in ourselves the things that are actually present. The truth hurts. Always has and probably always will. But Herbie, in many respects, is a child. You know, children are peculiarly logical. That's one of their great limitations. How many times has a child been in Herbie's position? A child between two warring parents, each demanding his loyalty. This is Mutual.